Welcome in to Jordy Culotta Show live here on this Friday edition, brought to you by Ghost Chevrolet. Got the full crew in house this morning. The carpool queen is back.
She's back.
Noah is
COVID
back.
survivor.
Lloyd is here. As it's good to see everybody. Queen, how we feeling?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa.
We will have her all set up here in a couple of seconds as we get going on this Friday. It is a jam-packed. We'll talk all about last night, South Carolina, number one team in the country, coming into the Maravich Center as Kim Mulkey and the crew nearly were able to take care of Coach Dawn Staley and the Gamecocks. But South Carolina, the number one team in the country, prevails down in Baton Rouge in what was front of a very rowdy and raucous environment.
Kim Mulkey and they have a little rift, a tiff going back and forth, huh? They kind of, the South Carolina coach and
I think they know how to play it up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like they both understand kind of who they are with the kind of for the game, for the sport. Right. You know what I mean. They know that they're part of the entertainers and part of the people that really bring people out to watch what's going on between women's basketball. So last night that was two of the heavyweights on LSU's sideline. But I think LSU basketball, as we have seen under Kim Mulkey here in year one, a lot of exciting things going on. The future looks bright, definitely. Just not there yet.
No. Not far off. I mean, that's what, 4 point. I don't know what the final score was. I think it's 4 or 5 points, but I mean, they're right there. That's number one team in the country. Yeah, number one team in the He's working on it. We haven't had this. We haven't had the third mic yet. Yeah, well.
I knew you were coming.
And we will also talk about some of what's happening with NFL, the LSU football team being hit by decisions and people going into the NFL. Some people coming in, some surprises, some others maybe not so surprising. When you see Derek Stingley Jr. announce that he's going pro, I think everybody anticipated that. Even when he was at Dunham, 3 years ago, people thought that he wasn't going to make it to his senior year. But it was official yesterday for Derek Stingley Jr. as he announced and put a letter out on Twitter and a letter out into onto social media about what he had going on.
Big move for the Kickers.
Was leaving. Yeah. Big. And that may be the more surprising moves.
Big early drafty guys in the Kickers. Cade York is, I mean, not Cade York, obviously that's a normal, but Avery Atkins.
Yeah.
I'm kind of.
Well, I think what Atkins does.
I mean, he's obviously declared probably as a punter.
A punter, but also somebody who can kick off. Somebody who can.
Like
Thomas
Morstead did.
He's every single time he is a touchback. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That was the draw to him in recruiting. That was the draw to him. I think right through this process.
Right.
Right.
And the tackle probably helps too.
Being able to, and he's physical. I mean,
he put his head right there, right between the numbers and the chest plate, bro.
Put some draft tape out there.
He knew what he needed to do. You know.
Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that share button. We appreciate you starting your day with us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. As we said, we're driven by Ghost Chevrolet. Our official spice is Papa Earl's, 30% less sodium. Papa Earl's, as you can find them anywhere you shop locally. True Blue Water, and then, of course, Majestic Coffee, DeliciousSips.com. Majestic Coffee, DeliciousSips.com is where you can find them online. And we always appreciate everybody supporting the show. As we said, we have a lot to get to here. On the Jordy Culotta Show. Do we have the Queen yet?
Yes.
We have the Queen. She's back.
Yeah.
She's back.
It's good to see you.
Thanks.
Been down and out for the last couple of weeks. How's it been?
Good.
How's it been?
Terrible.
Yeah?
But back.
What do you think about the noodle?
I already knew about the noodle.
A little lipstick on this pig.
I mean, yeah, I've been having major FOMO. I couldn't even get through all the shows. David would turn it on and I'd be like, I don't even want to watch.
I'm glad I got to finally meet David yesterday.
I know,
that was
right?
nice. It's the first time I got to.
I know.
Got to shake hands and say, "Hey, this is now." Yeah, I know. You're hiding him from us. What are you doing?
I know. Well, he
was
scared
scared that we're gonna all become best friends and just leave you out, or what's the deal?
No, he was gonna come Sunday night for the inaugural show, but we all know what happened.
But you ruined that.
So I did ruin
ruined
that.
it. It's okay.
It looks great in here. It sounds great in here. It's amazing.
Only going to get better.
I know.
Only going to get better.
Yes, it is good to be in the Noodle. 1 week down in the Noodle. And then Noah is here. We'll get Noah mic'd up at some point throughout the process. As,
Need a new soundboard for that.
Yeah.
We only got the 4 spots. We got the
Like I said, we're upgrading.
It's a big room.
Yeah.
But it has been a cool first opening week at the Noodle, and everybody's support and everybody's interaction and all the feedback. That is very much appreciated. Please make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button as you start your day here with us on the Jordy Culotta Show. As we said, last night's environment for number 1 South Carolina and LSU was electric. And if there was anything that I think that Kim Mulkey can sell after year 1, it is that she has re-energized and recharged the LSU women's basketball crowd. Simone Augustus was there last night. As she is the face of the program, really, from a historical standpoint. There has been a lot of figures that have come to the LSU women's basketball program. Sue Gunner, Sylvia Fowles, but none more popular than Simone Augustus in what she brought to the program, being from Baton Rouge, what she accomplished while she was here, and the way that she carries herself post-LSU. And to have her in the building last night alongside that environment, I thought was a home run from the marketing department. And then you just kind of let Mulkey do what she does with her team, and they nearly pull it out, 66-60. They had a couple of shots not fall late in the game that really they had good looks at.
That layup.
It haunt you. Yeah, that'll kill you. That was probably the one that got away, or when it got away. But if there's anything that you can sell after 15 games of watching Kim Mulkey's program, is that the future is very bright, obviously, but that people are bought in. I mean, if you remember what her message was before the season, I believe our question to her, there was something along the lines of how can we help, and she just said spread the word. You know, tell people to buy up tickets, tell people to know what's going on, get a schedule, know when we play, get out and watch us play. People have responded to that.
Yep.
And that's not just going to go away overnight. That's something that sticks. And Mulkey's teams are only going to improve, only going to get better. And she is going to she'll have 10,000 a night in that place. I mean, it won't matter if South Carolina's in town, or it won't matter if Louisiana, it doesn't matter, whoever it is. And it's no disrespect on anybody. I'm just saying, no matter the caliber of opponent, Kim Mulkey, people are coming to watch her program.
Yep.
You know, like back in the day, even when Simone was here, I remember going to that Tennessee game on that Sunday afternoon when Pat Summitt was here. And sure, a lot of us were out because Simone was playing Tennessee, but the place, the people that it packed the place with really got there to see Tennessee and Pat Summitt. That's what they were coming to see. Mulkey is creating this culture in this program where it doesn't matter who they play, when they play, people are going to be there and support.
Yep.
And I think the last week has been evidence of that, and last night being a great example of that. A fantastic environment. Just could pull it out, 66-60 they fall.
I have a question for Katie. Did you watch any of it, any of the game or at all? Did
Just
you see
the
pictures?
end.
Okay, so you saw.
end.
What was your thought on Kim Mulkey's fit? Her little outfit she's got going on.
I always
Did you
have
see
good
it?
thoughts on her
I know. That's
outfit.
why I want to ask.
She's always flashy. Always loved the heels.
She's
like
wearing
always.
yeah.
I love that she jumps around in heels. That's
And
my
it go
favorite
and
thing.
her I don't even know what you would call the jacket she was wearing yesterday. but-
Sequins.
Was it sequins or was it something else?
No, I think it was.
It was a sequence.
Yeah, it was
It
sequins.
just seemed like
Was
it
it
was.
not?
Oh no, it just changed a lot of colors.
Well,
a lot.
sequins do.
No, I know.
Sequins
but
do that.
I just didn't know if there was like if there was like a more I don't know,
LSU
official
women's
term.
Official
of
term
yeah, I
for
don't know.
sequins.
I don't know.
I think it was just sequins.
Sequences. Okay.
But her
See?
energy in those outfits is amazing. I mean, that's entertaining enough right there.
Yeah, it's price of admission.
I know it is.
Could you imagine jumping in high heels?
I don't know. I mean, I think when you get that kind of energy, though, like, it doesn't matter. I mean, I used to wear heels a lot, I guess, so I did, like, everything in heels because I had – shut up, Lloyd.
High heel J's.
I know they were closed-toed shoes. That's all I know.
They were closed-toed, just like Kim Mulkey. So I can imagine it, but it's still hard to do.
Is she closed-toe?
Yeah, I think every heel I've seen her wear, I think, has been
Okay.
closed-toe. Like, she wears a legitimate, like, spike heel, yeah.
Yeah,
it just looks like it is a twisted ankle.
It does.
Or a broken ankle every single time.
You're one little jump away from that.
No, I mean, like the landing has to be so precise.
Well, you're on your toes. You're on the ball of your foot the whole time you're in hills, basically.
Well, I mean, she's probably the best athlete in the gym.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, really and truly. I mean, she's probably the best athlete in the gym.
Yeah. You got to have balance to do that.
Night. Alvin Kamara was in the gym.
Yeah.
He went to the game yesterday. So, but outside of Alvin, maybe, yeah.
What a great bench look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For LSU.
Look at that.
Yeah, that is a good look.
Look at the
pants on
yeah,
this guy.
I was about to say, look at the banana pants.
I know.
Curious George.
Wait, who is that guy?
Joe.
Oh, he's the.
You could have said any name.
He's the.
You could have said, oh,
Absolutely.
Joe.
What you don't see
what an
in that picture, the undershirt is a mock turtleneck.
Which
Wait,
is back.
his undershirt?
Yes.
Which is back. Now that you point
That is
out,
a mock
I need
turtleneck.
to see more of
No,
this
that's
outfit.
coach.
Like,
That's no mock.
Oh, there's
that's a full neck.
There's
No,
someone.
that's a full turtleneck.
Oh yeah, full turtleneck.
Yeah.
That's not a tie, right? That's a turtleneck. There's a guy on the bench that had a turtleneck. I think it's him.
No, it's definitely him. Look at him.
I mean the pants.
What's his name? Noah?
The whole outfit, the shoes, I need to see more photos of this guy. What did you say now?
He's the assistant director of basketball operations.
All right, let's
Hey,
see
I'll tell you
some
what
more
though,
of him.
Kim's got her staff. She's like, hey, you know
Yeah.
what? Y'all dress
Look at
nice.
the pants
I
on
know.
this one.
There is
I
a
know.
dress code.
Yeah, y'all
Yeah,
dress
so
nice.
The standard is the standard.
Look
You ain't
at
coming here
your
in
boy.
sweats.
Look at your boy in the end. The first seat with just the traditional suit on. He's obviously keeping the stats.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
Is
why he's
that
at the end
big,
of the bench.
if you look right over his right shoulder, Lloyd, maybe you can confirm this. Is that Big Grant from LSU SID with the purple sport coat
I think
on?
it
on
is.
the right?
It is, dude. The sports info department has a glow up in themselves.
Yeah,
like
they
they're
really
glowing
do.
up too.
Jeez.
Good
I'm
look,
loving
G.
everyone's look.
Dude, those pants go with that jacket. Did she pawn off the pants to her?
No, you can't
No,
do that.
that's way too
Lloyd,
much.
that would be
I'm just
crazy.
saying,
Whoa.
you buy the outfit together.
Whoa.
No,
that's
those
like some
pants aren't
That's
sequins.
like some Prince stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's too much.
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
way too much.
Yeah.
It's too
Yeah,
much
yeah.
purple.
I'm just looking.
You can't even watch the game at that point. You're just looking at her outfit.
I know.
Get behind the goal. Get
Yeah.
behind the basketball goal
Yeah.
for a little free throw.
I did like the white out though. The crowd was popping. The
Yeah.
white looked good.
I like a white out.
The white looked good.
Jacket is
Great.
flames, dude.
I
Wow.
know.
LSU's a 1 seed as far as
All bench.
Oh yeah.
squad.
I know.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Thank God they're winning.
I know.
If you show up and look like this and you're a loser, that does not play to
Well, I
you.
think
No, that
She
was-
knows that.
I think,
for
I think
sure.
Mulkey
Yeah.
knows that
Yeah.
for sure. Absolutely,
No
she
doubt.
knows that.
Well, I know she has a stylist. I wonder if the
Honestly?
rest of the team uses the same person.
That's
or if
what I
they're
was talking
just
about the pants.
on
And
their
you know, I
own.
got this that goes with this. She's like, I'll take the pants.
I mean, Mulkey's probably one of those that like sends her stylist to somebody and be like, "Have Joe not wear that."
I know.
You know what I mean? Like,
Can you get him a
send
mop?
word down to Joe that the yellow pants are a one-time thing.
That's what the film review is. That's what they do
right.
instead.
Oh my god.
Oliver Holmes, come on, man! Y'all talk about her coaching rather than her outfit.
Oh,
We did that.
all
We
of
did
it.
that.
Man,
She's
rewind the
amazing.
tape.
Why
She's a
do
Hall
people?
of
Why do
Famer,
people
man.
keep yelling at us for that? Like, the outfit's part of her
Yeah.
persona. Like, this is part of her. She's a
Yeah.
great coach. She has a great fashion style, and she's great. She's great for LSU.
Great to
Yeah.
see Kamara in the building last
Yeah,
night.
and
Also, Charlie, it really does show her pull, her draw.
Yeah.
To be able to, just kind of gauge the interest of the NFL, one of the NFL's best players, and get him in to town on a Thursday night to watch that matchup, I think it says even more about the program and culture and interest and buzz that she's building in year one, 15 games in, right? I mean, we're all here to stay. Now nobody's going anywhere. I mean, it's over. I mean, the buzz and the bill of what she sold is here to stay. So it was great to see last night. That's just more evidence of LSU heading in the right direction under Kim Mulkey in year one, as they are now 14-2 on the season.
What do you think her ceiling is with this team? I know obviously down the road it's championship or bust for her, but if you see this already in year one, where do you think this team can go? Because she got players. Like, it's not just her. She brought in people that can play.
Well, you saw, they were 2 possessions away from beating the number one team in the country. So the ceiling is obviously that. You would think that, if they can do that right now with the team that they've got, like that, they can beat anybody.
Because that wasn't my expectation coming into this year. Like, obviously, we were excited about Kim Mulkey, and we had her on the show, and it felt like Jordy kind of got the hire done. And then, so we were excited for LSU women's basketball, and then when she came on, she's like, I need time. Like, I know I'm Kim Mulkey, and I know I've built winners before, but the one thing that she pleaded for is, like, give me some time to get this right. Mm-hmm. But if you're going wire to wire with the number one team in the country, you got a sold out, essally, PMAC.
Had a double-digit lead. Had a double-digit lead.
She's up 10.5.
She was up, and they were comfortably, like, they looked like the better team for the first half in that game.
Mm-hmm. I know this. When you look at her schedule
and her style
on the season, the teams that she's playing with numbers next to them is in a rearview mirror. Mm-hmm. I mean, the schedule is now really she's going to have the advantage the majority of the nights, opening up conference play at number 13 Georgia, coming home to open conference play at in the Maravich Center versus number 23 Texas A&M, and then finishing it out last night versus number 1 South Carolina. In that ranked stretch of your schedule of Southeastern Conference opponents, you're 2-1. And I think if you'd have told Mulkey that back early in the process, late October, early November, that, hey, you're going to come out of that pack of SEC games 2-1, she would have sprinted there, right? Because you would have said, wow, she's probably going to beat Georgia, Texas A&M, and lose to South Carolina. And that's the way it worked out. And now she gets into the part of the schedule where she's got a lot of the advantage. I mean, there's no more ranked team. She's now the ranked team that's going to be taking on Auburn this Sunday, Missouri, Vanderbilt, Florida. I mean, her schedule now really allows her, I think, to pick up some real good wins and stack them up for a selection committee that, you know, I mean, she's only going to get a better number by her team going into the postseason. I don't know enough about women's college basketball to say what her ceiling is, but they definitely feel like a team that could get into the tournament, make some noise, and you don't want to play because of her.
Yep.
Right? I mean, and not only that, she's got players, like we said, but I mean, you get into a tournament scenario with her where she's got all this experience and she's got all these wins and she's got that personality and that attitude on her sideline that really can take over for her team. You know, she's an opponent's nightmare, really, with a team that she's going to have believing. She's going to have them well schemed and well coached. And, you know, I mean, it feels like Will Wade's first season where you were wondering what was going to happen because he had so much to turn over, specifically on the floor. And he brought players in that really, you know, I mean, pulled the public to the arena and made people see, like, wow, they got some, they gonna make a run. They could potentially make a run here. Now, the women's game is not as competitive as a whole as the men's game. LSU got into the NIT that year. Mulkey's going to get into the NCAA tournament, right? Like, she's going to be in the dance in year one. Yeah, absolutely. She'll probably have a pretty respectable seed number next to her name. So, you know, to answer your question, I don't know exactly what the ceiling is. They just feel like somebody in a couple of weeks that I want no part of if I'm on the other sideline.
Absolutely, and I think that's, you mentioned Kim Mulkey. There's probably, three coaches in women's college basketball that you don't want to see on the other sideline. You saw two of them last night in Gino Auriemma. But if you're any other coach and you see Kim Mulkey strutting on the court, you're like, oh, my God.
Shit.
Like, no matter who they have, I'm in for a battle. Because she's over there, like I said, jumping in high heels. She's, like, strutting down the court and fist pumping. And
she brings energy.
She's a sixth woman on the team. Like, you feel like she's such a part of it. You mentioned LSU women's basketball schedule. LSU men's basketball is right on the precipice of that same thing. If they can get through Tennessee Saturday, everything kind of starts to roll downhill for LSU men's basketball, because this is the bookend of their toughest stretch as well.
I will say this. I haven't watched a lot of women's SEC basketball, but over the last couple of days, I have watched SEC men's basketball, and I watched Alabama go into Florida, and I watched Tennessee and Ole Miss. And you're right that you're not going to Auburn anymore, but you can't. There's no let up in the SEC. There really is. I mean, for as easy as you could get beat tomorrow at home versus Tennessee, you could just as easily pack it up and go to Florida in your next game and get run there too, because they got athletes that can get up and down the floor. Now, do they have the depth that you have? No. But going into anybody's place, the SEC is going to be tough this season. It doesn't matter.
Don't sleep on Mississippi State either.
They're coming up.
Mississippi State's good, so they're going to be.
They're getting better.
Oh, I know. That's for you. I know.
Yeah, but that wasn't.
Did you forget about me?
No, I didn't.
Now you're like, never mind.
I didn't. But I was like, I was gonna give you. I was gonna try to get past by that. Like, don't forget.
Oh, you're just gonna loop around it?
Yeah, I was gonna try to like, hey, here's a honk when you pass by the house type thing.
No, you're gonna give the wave at the
Ring the
grocery
bell.
store.
Hey,
how you
that's
doing?
what you're saying. We didn't forget about you,
That's
but no,
so sweet,
they are
How you doing? Keep
good.
moving.
You know what I mean?
Probably the 5th best team in the league.
And maybe better than that at the end of the year. But I mean, you play in the first 7 games. I know you said the bookend with Tennessee, but you go back and you repeat a couple of these teams in these first 7. So, you know, it's gonna be a tough first 2 weeks. Once you get past that, yeah, it may ease up a little bit. But everyone, it's deep.
LSU is hosting number 18 Tennessee tomorrow, which Tennessee had to get through overtime earlier this week versus Ole Miss to get that game done. And Ole Miss was missing their best player.
Marshall Henderson?
Not their best alum.
He ain't walking through that door.
Yeah, right.
I would love to be Chad Kelly and Marshall Henderson
Wow.
at the same
Hey,
fraternity party.
How about Chad Kelly's?
What about
deal?
Chad Kelly, Marshall Henderson, Ben Mintz, one night in Oxford?
Oh my! That you will never remember.
I'm driving.
It's the hangover. We lost one.
Chad Kelly's thing got canceled.
Yeah.
What happened? You don't know?
What was his thing?
He was there though.
Him and Mintz.
Remember how they had the
Sugar Bowl.
Sugar Bowl? Like they had a restaurant. Like
Sounded
a
pretty
signing.
shady. It sounded something with a restaurant.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I don't know anything about it, but
going back to LSU's basketball schedule, Tennessee tomorrow, number 18 at home. Then you travel to Florida on Wednesday night, home versus Arkansas.
are they still ranked?
Arkansas is not.
It's not ranked anymore.
Wait, is that next weekend?
That's next Saturday.
Okay.
That's the game that we're gonna have the tailgate for. We're gonna have the tailgate for Daniel Newman. That game is at 1:00 on Saturday, and we're gonna start up the tailgate about 11:00. We were planning on having a tailgate tomorrow for the Tennessee game, but rain looks like it's gonna be in all day, and why fight that? So we'll just plan it for another Saturday. Arkansas will be in town next weekend, and we will have a get together in lot 108. With Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. He'll be cooking some good food up, and we'll be getting into the arena to go watch LSU Arkansas at 1:00. So, I mean, like, give you an idea. Tennessee tomorrow, Florida on Wednesday, Arkansas next Saturday, travel to Coleman Coliseum to take on Alabama on January 19th, back on the road against Tennessee on January 22nd.
Ain't no bookends.
No, you're right. It's just another chapter, girl.
Yeah, I mean, and then you finish up the month of January with Texas A&M, which, look, I mean, that's
Gig 'em.
a little bit of a you can kind of get a little bit of fresh air, but I mean, still, you can't show up by any means thinking you're going to beat anybody in the Southeastern Conference and expect to walk away with it.
Buzz Williams, right?
Buzz Williams.
That's
Scott Woodward hired.
Scott Woodward. I'm sure people are poo-pooing it at A&M, but that was a good hire whenever he made it.
Poo-pooing.
LSU, Tennessee. What do you think? I can't find the line yet. They always wait for these college basketball. What do you think the spread would be?
I think LSU probably 3.
I mean,
LSU
think about
2.5.
LSU was favored 2, but against Kentucky. So you would assume that I'd probably 3.5. I think 3.5 sounds like a good number.
If it saves under 4, I'm gonna snag.
LSU?
Yeah, of course.
It feels like that they're ready for a little bit of a bust out.
Yeah.
It does. I don't know if Kentucky is as good as they have reputably been under John Calipari. Anytime you can beat Kentucky at home, it's a good win. LSU gets it done 65-60 the other night. I'm not sure Kentucky is as good of a team as they've been under Calipari. I think tomorrow you'll get more of a barometer of where kind of LSU is going into this next pack of SEC games, because I think what Tennessee does is that they are going to guard LSU. They're going to make LSU earn everything, and LSU has struggled offensively. So we will see how they respond. Tomorrow feels like a Darius Days game. Somebody that you've got to really kind of count on to hit big shots and really kind of be able to regulate you as a scoring team, because when they have been struggling to find the bucket, to find shots that'll fall, Days seems like he's been the guy at home that has gotten them right.
And it seems like he's due for a big scoring game. Like Kentucky, he made some big shots, but he wasn't on.
Right.
You know, he had missed some shots throughout the course of the game. He didn't have a ton of points, and he made some big threes at the end, which is huge for us. But it seems like he's due for one of those 20, 25-point games where he's 6 for 8 from the 3-point line. You can't miss. Bury his trays coming back. You know, I think that's he's due for one of those games. And then I'm just excited to see the evolution of Murray continue to come because his offensive skill set is something that nobody else on our team
can do at this moment. Yeah. I think I was going to say the same thing. I think Brandon Murray might be kind of the key to the offense a little bit because if he can if he can hit open threes and just knock down shots, he can kind of create his own shot a little bit. If they can get him going and get him comfortable in that role, I think he might be somebody that you could take some pressure off Darius Days because
it'll open up. It'll
open everything
he's
up.
Able to, if he can consistently get in the lane and hit those mid-range jumpers
that you love.
I love that. I love them. And I'm not saying live and die by it, but like, hey, if something's not working, if the outside-inside game's not working, let's try to figure out something to be able to generate some offense, make the defense crash in a little bit, kick it out, give Darius Days maybe a step or two extra on the little pick and pop game, and I think that could help.
Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the comment button. We appreciate you being here this morning. We will talk about what's going on with Quincy Wiggins at the All-Star game.
What are the chances,
I was just going to ask, can y'all catch me up
on
what happened with him?
Yeah, we'll get to it here. Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by Edward Jones, our friends over at Edward Jones. Daniel Newman, Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com. We just mentioned Newman's going to be throwing a basketball tailgate party next Saturday versus Arkansas. Mark your calendars, January 15th. Tip time's 1 o'clock. The grill will probably get going somewhere around 11. So if you want to get out to Section 108, parking lot 108, for the LSU Arkansas game, Edward Jones and Daniel Newman will be hosting a tailgate party. Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com. Get in touch with him about all of your financial concerns that you may have, any type of investment advice you may be looking for. Daniel Newman over at Edward Jones. Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com. Shane West, what was more impressive, Brian Kelly's footwork getting off the plane or Kim Mulkey jumping around in heels? With a $5 super chat. We appreciate that very much, Shane, for you watching here.
Kim Mulkey jumping around in hills.
I think so.
Put some hills on and jump around.
Even though Kelly's first introduction to Baton Rouge.
Yeah, I remember.
The pressure.
A lot of pressure in that moment. Walking downhill is tough. On steps. I've never jumped in high heels. I have walked it down in steps.
Oh, I thought you were about to say I have walked in high heels.
No,
I'm not.
I'm not.
We have a conversation.
I've only run in high heels. I've not jumped.
Red dress run.
Right.
Because the pressure on BK in that moment, if you can't go down, you can't fall. Like, you can't. Yeah, you can't. It's never happened.
You can't win enough if you fall.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't. You'll never be able to win and outlive that moment. Mm-hmm. Even at your national championship, your first or your fifth, they'd show it.
That lives forever on the internet. I mean, there were people there covering just that. He didn't even say anything to anybody. It was just literally him getting off the plane. And if you busted out the gate, instead he big dicks the whole thing and like swaggers off the jet with little jet legs, dude. He's a little wobbly, and then he got him quick. A little jet lag.
No, legit BDK.
Yeah. That's why he almost went down, dude. He's bottom heavy.
Oh my god!
I had to drop nuts on those Tigers. Watch out.
Welcome to Baton Rouge.
Where's Geno's?
So Quincy Wiggins, one of the big gets for Brian Kelly in the early signing period, as LSU looking to close strong here in February and really clean up in the transfer portal, according to Coach Kelly the other night during the bowl game. Quincy Wiggins is over at the All-Star game, at the Army All-American game, and like through the first 3 days of practice, people are like, "Who's the kid from Baton Rouge?" He's skyrocketing up. Like people are talking about him being the best player at the All-Star game, or he's having some of the best practices at the All-Star game. Yesterday they go sightseeing, and he jumps on a where are they? San Antonio?
Yeah, San Antonio.
What the hell are you doing?
They're probably going through the Riverwalk.
Yeah,
dude.
They're probably going through the Riverwalk.
Eating a churro.
I've done all this.
He flies through a
Barkley
crosswalk and takes on a Chrysler Sebring
Head on.
Yes.
Was the Chrysler
I don't
Sebring?
know.
Do they still make this?
I don't know.
He tried to put his shoulder through the
It feels
grill.
like Sebring weather.
It does.
Top down.
He saw the car coming. He said, "I'm gonna
Michael Scott.
lower the shoulder right through the grill of this car and see if I
And
can't
Quincy
take this
took
thing
one
off."
to the took a car shot to the arm.
the
Got hit by a
hell?
car yesterday.
Like, how
Breaks
fast
his
was
arm.
the car
Hit and run.
going?
It's a hit and run.
Yeah, the car
and run.
takes.
It was
Wait,
hit and run?
I mean,
car took
if
off.
this dude's laying on your hood, you're probably like, "Oh my god!"
Just hit an alien.
I mean, for real.
I mean, here's the deal though. They have cameras and like they're gonna
Yeah.
get that guy. Like they're gonna find him. You're telling me this Quincy Wiggins, who's 6'6", 250 pounds, isn't gonna leave a dent in the car?
No, he
Sebring?
absolutely left a dent.
Yeah.
And like, I know that we're laughing about it, but I mean, I talked to somebody who was close. Like, it was scary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
got hit by a car.
No, he got drilled by a car. Like, it wasn't as if.
If it's anybody else.
You know, it wasn't like somebody stopped and he just kind of got tapped. Like, he ran through a crosswalk and somebody was coming down the street. I mean,
Was it his fault then?
Yeah.
I mean,
yes,
okay.
it was his fault.
He ran the red light.
Is he okay?
He's okay. He
Wait,
wanted to
whose
play.
fault?
It was Quincy's
Quincy's.
fault.
Oh, okay.
Not the
He just
Sebring.
he pulled out in traffic on a on a scooter.
Have y'all-
I mean, it's just
okay,
like
War
it's,
territory.
it's just like if you're driving today. I mean, you know, big car wins.
Have y'all-
Scooters out. Doesn't matter if Quincy's on
On
it
it or not.
I mean,
Sebring wins.
Lawrence Taylor or Quincy Wiggins, Sebring's winning every time.
Have y'all ridden one of those scooters?
Yes.
Sebring?
Yeah,
that-
Sebring
no,
or
no,
My
scooter.
friend has one
Quincy
in high
has.
school.
No,
or one
we-
of those like bird or like lime scooters.
Yes, we have. We rented them when we went out to California for LSU UCLA, and my friend who hosted us, Justin Parnell. You know, we went and drove like downtown Santa Barbara, and Jordan had a scooter, and we all three had bikes, and this little maniac had us a nervous wreck just because of how fast
Yeah.
these little things
they do.
can get out from under you, and he just would like zip crosswalk to crosswalk, and if you were watching from the back, it looked like he was gonna fly through the crosswalk.
Yeah.
So I mean, like a couple of times, you're like psycho parents screaming in in the back. You know what I mean? Like people are just walking. There's like music
Beautiful
playing. You know what I
weather.
mean? Jordan! Jordan! And people are like, God damn. You know what I mean? I'm like, my kids running out.
It is
You know
like
what I
that.
mean? I'm like, get your ass back here. I gotta tell you one more fucking time. Not to, you know what I mean? Like,
Hey, I'm not the first one to curse on the show this morning. Thank God.
that took me
I did
back,
not do
bro.
it.
I mean, but just those scooters are.
Yeah.
I mean, like they
Well,
will get out
Hey,
from
listen,
under you
I will
quick,
say
bro.
this, especially if you don't know, if you're not familiar with the area, right? So I was in Charlotte last year, and like they had scooters everywhere. Kind of familiar with the area, so I kind of, like.
Were you
and
on a scooter?
They're all over the place.
Okay.
So like I would,
It just makes me laugh. To
I would
picture
drive the
you on
scooter
a
all the
scooter.
time, you know. So like,
Wait, there's a video of Quincy getting hit.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no,
what
I
I
was
just saw.
wondering,
that.
can we play that?
Absolutely.
Did you find it?
No, if somebody sends it in, I'll play it.
But and like you're not supposed to ride on the sidewalks.
Okay.
Right?
yeah.
But you do most people do ride on the sidewalks. They have like, loose bricks or whatever, and like those tires aren't, they're gonna get caught and whatever. We're in Nashville, and I'm driving, I'm scootering to the game from the hotel. Like it's probably like a 10
Funny
minute
visual.
I
He's too
can't.
big for it. I
10
can't
minute
know.
scooter, right? So I'm
Hilarious, too.
scootering and I'm trying to whatever. So like there was you're in the road, and like the oncoming traffic was here, but there was a sidewalk going here. I'm on the sidewalk and I'm cruising, and I'm not familiar with the area. Sidewalk ends, no more sidewalk, just grass, oncoming traffic, and I am stuck. And so I have to swerve onto oncoming, like into the street, and then swerve back, and some guy was driving that's going on here and honked at me because he saw me like
Yeah, I bet.
freak out. And so like I can see how maybe Quincy Wiggins gets in trouble because he's not familiar with the area, but I almost got hit by a car too. So
I believe it.
I did not tell Allie. Hopefully she doesn't listen to this because she does not know this story. She told me don't ride the scooters because that.
And look what
You
you
know,
went and
and
did.
look what happened.
If you wouldn't have said don't do it, I wouldn't have done it.
I mean, look, I'm not.
I think the
very,
video was removed.
Yeah, of course.
Really? Oh, dang.
I think so.
I'm not
It's
very.
gotta
I'm
be
not
out
a.
there
I'm not a good
somewhere.
motorist. Like,
We heard yesterday.
yeah, like I'm not. My buddy had a moped in college because that was the big thing. When we were in college, all the football players had a moped they
Really?
would drive on campus. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And like they'd go, and so my buddy had one that for the baseball team, and he wasn't with us. He was out of town, and we were at our house, and we had some people over. And I was like, "Let me go see this," and I wrecked it.
Long story
you did.
short.
Yep, I'm lucky that I didn't get hurt, but I wrecked it.
You've got some scooter history.
Yeah, I'm not a good motorist. So I'm gonna stay.
Good driver though. If you know where we're going.
My wife would disagree.
I followed you and I felt safe.
Daily, we were brought to you by GoFlow, GEAUX,
Turn
FlowIV.com. Remember GoFlow. If you're looking for a little energy to get into the weekend, stop and check out our friends over at GoFlow. They got memberships available over there. 3-month, 6-month, and annual memberships. Treatments can help you with chronic dehydration, chronic illness, athletic performance, all of that. Baton Rouge's premier medical spa, specializing in high V hydration treatments with vitamin infusion. GoFlowIV.com. That is GEAUX, FlowIV.com. But before the wreck for Quincy, it was he was trending as one of the top prospects at that game. So that was good to see, because I think some of the buzz on Quincy during his senior year was, especially from schools like Alabama. I think Alabama cooled off on Quincy a little bit because of it was very much helpful to LSU, but
raw.
And by the way, Andre Carter deserves a ton of credit. I know that James Kane,
a good message.
James Kane is coming in as the new defensive line coach for LSU and is being praised and celebrated as a big get for LSU and their coaching staff. But Andre Carter deserves a ton of credit for the recruitment of Quincy Wiggins. You heard the impact that B.J. Ojulari said that Coach Carter has had on him in just this one season. But he was very instrumental. I mean, in fact, the lead dog on getting Quincy Wiggins to Baton Rouge, as people will always be, I think, grateful and feel like Andre Carter really gave everything he had to the program while he was here, whether it was, dressing out in pads and some of the pictures that came out and just how intimidating the dude is, to the impact that he had on his players that he was coaching for the current roster, guys like B.J. Ojulari, who we've talked to recruiting and getting guys like Quincy Wiggins. Andre Carter deserves a ton of it. But I think what happened with Quincy in his senior season was it was an LSU-Alabama race, really, for the most part. I think Florida really kind of made and gave Quincy some things to think about, but I think it was really down to LSU and Alabama on the two schools that he was really going to attend. And at one point, Saban, Pete Golding, and the entire Tide staff had the gas mashed down to the they had full gas down on Quincy. Yeah, right. And was showing him all the love and making sure he knew that he was a top priority. And during that time, I think, Quincy became very much in favor of Alabama.
Alabama, the underdog.
Yeah.
They are.
No, I
Nick
don't think
Saban said that. No, that's what he said about Monday's game. Y'all didn't hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
They
are. They're
yes.
but I mean, really,
as
when
far
is
as
Alabama an underdog?
Well, I mean, that's the last. Remember when they were like, they asked him about the rat poison in the
Yummy.
SEC championship, and he was like, it was yummy this week. So he's just playing it up,
word.
man.
I know. An
It is-
underdog
it
is an
is.
underdog.
I don't like to. I don't know what. I don't want to know.
Yummy's
what
like
Nick Saban
moist.
thinks
Yummy's
is
like
yummy.
moist.
Yeah.
Moist and yummy.
It is.
They're
Weird-
not mutually exclusive.
Just weird words.
Our boy Noah is in the
I know,
chat.
y'all are in a fight.
He is in the chat talking about basketball,
doing
man.
over
He
there?
is
Noah and Reed are
Get
in
this
a
man a
fight.
Noah is flexing his basketball knowledge in the chat right now. I love it. I
Noah
love
and
what's
Reed-
going
Is it Reed
on.
Wilson? Is that who you're fighting with?
It's not a fight.
It is totally a
He's
fight.
he's learning something. He's you're gonna learn today. You know what I mean?
Love it.
He's letting them know.
Noah's
Be
like
wary of-
furiously over here, like Googling and typing back to Reed.
I'm not Googling.
It's
He's
just
like,
in the
this
brain.
is straight out of my head. I'm not Googling
Eminem
anything.
with the freestyle.
Sorry, that was offensive.
Sorry,
I just offended Noah.
I didn't mean to cut off the thought. I'm reading it. I'm like, man, Noah is going at him.
Tari Eason should start over Darius Days. And
Okay.
I said Tari should stay coming off the bench for the rest of the season. We probably would lose some of the games we won if Tari starts instead of coming off the bench.
Tari plays starter minutes anyway.
Yeah, that's what
Well, he's on the floor at the end of the game.
Yeah, that's all I meant.
That tells you what you need to know. It's an energy boost. That's what they're looking for. That's what they're
Go
trying.
Flow
That's
IV.
what they're trying to create is a little bit of energy
Nice
off
slide in
of
there.
of the bench. But what happened with Quincy was that during his senior season, I think he just showed that he was a little bit more raw than people expected from a football player standpoint. I think people, recruiting him as a 3-year player just because of his physique and how physical he is. But then you get him on a football field, and he's got a lot of raw strength and power. I mean, that one-on-one versus Will Campbell at LSU's camp, obviously, I mean, that was just some good of highlight that you'll find in recruiting. But he's still, from a technical standpoint and just an experience standpoint, he hadn't played a lot of football in his life. I mean, he was more of a basketball player growing up and really committed to football. I'd say, like, really committed to football probably just 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's still a lot for him to learn,
which I like, because some of the best players LSU's has had in the recent history have been guys like him that are super, super athletic but raw and developed and.
I can hear like every slurp.
Sorry.
Sound is so
like
good in here.
Arden Key was a super raw guy.
Daniil Hunter
was raw. You had, I think even go back to like Marcus Spears somewhat was, because he was a basketball player kind of coming in. Like, I think he was a little bit more polished than maybe Quincy, but still he had some learning to do when he got here. It's just, there's a lot of guys that, especially on that defensive end position, that you get that's super athletic. They have the core of like what you're looking for. I like those guys because they come in here and they shine early on, especially a guy like Quincy. Like, Quincy comes in and gets in the weight room and gets 4 months of working out. I can't wait for that.
He can't do that. He broke his arm.
No, he still can do it. Let's be real. Come on.
Bro.
The guy wants to play after a broken arm in the All-Star game that he doesn't even need to play, and he's like, I'm playing.
Club that thing up.
Club that thing up, dude. I've seen worse.
I mean, it's almost an advantage to have the club.
Are you reading Hayden Pierre's comment?
No, I'm reading Shamichael Thompson, who says, so Jordy, what you're saying is that they're not interested in coaching up a kid and molding him into something greater? No, I'm saying Shamichael, the guys on his board are more refined players. And at Alabama, the defensive end room, they've got pro after pro after pro, and they look at a guy like Quincy Wiggins and they say, rather than investing 4 years into him, we'll just take this guy that we can get for 3 years and go recruit 2 more.
Yep.
I mean, that's the luxury of where they are. And, if it came down to it and Quincy was telling them, hey, I really want to come to Alabama, they'd have taken him. But what happened was they just kind of showed not as much interest. They were still interested, but they weren't gassed down all the way on Quincy Wiggins like they were at the beginning of his recruitment. And it gave teams like LSU a chance to come in and tell Quincy how they were going to coach him up and get him better and make him right. And that's just where, if nothing else, it shows you where Alabama is in their process, that they have the luxury to take a kid like Quincy Wiggins and say, we don't have that much time to it. We don't want to invest that much time into him when we can get another player that's more ready and ready to play quicker, and you can have 2 of them rather than just having 1.
Yeah, and they had the luxury of doing that. They have the luxury of being able to have the pick of the litter right now, especially on the defensive line. We talk about defensive line, and they're talking about guys that we've come through. Every time I watch an NFL game, and I'm gonna forget what team he plays for, but Al Woods' name gets brought up. I'm like, this guy is still doing it. He's still starting in the NFL as a defensive tackle, and it's like
he's a mountain, bro.
He's a 5-star when he came here, and he was
played against him in high school.
He was supposed to be the guy, he was good, but he wasn't everybody thought he was gonna be, and he's 10 plus years in the NFL. I just forget that he's still there. It's crazy to me.
Who's he with now? Seattle?
I think it's Seattle.
Yeah.
He was a Bear for a while, or am I thinking Hakeem?
You're thinking
Hicks?
Hakeem Hicks.
Yeah, those 2 guys, it worked because kind of the same thing. Hakeem was the one that got supposed to be at LSU.
It was the DJ McCartney, the DJ McCartney thing.
Yeah, obviously Brockers is really good.
Right.
I mean, they've had some guys come out, man. Defensive linemen.
Well, dude,
Brockers only played 22 games.
Yeah.
Like, that was something that you looked back on Michael Brockers and they were like, wow, they screwed that up because they redshirted him, and then he was quicker to being draft eligible, or he only played 22 games at LSU, and they always looked at speaking of like the LSU program, looked back at Brockers and always said that they didn't want that to ever happen again. Like, you got to make sure that you maximize a guy like that and get as much playing time and as much reps out of, a guy who's a 3-year pro like Brockers was on that line. I mean, that 2011 season, I mean, him on that defensive line was really the game changer.
Dude, and you talk about the 2011 defensive line. LSU is shaping up to look like that again with the guy like you bring in a Quincy Wiggins to a Mason Smith, and then you had Roy, and you had who else?
Ali Gay, you have BJ
Ojulari.
Our defensive line is in the best position it's been in a long time. I think talent wise.
Yeah.
Like I think and like.
Well, I mean, when you look at the state of Louisiana over the last 3 years, think about who's been the number one defensive lineman in the state the last 3 cycles: Jaquelin Roy, Mason Smith, and Quincy Wiggins.
Right, and we got him.
Now you've got all 3 of those guys playing on the same defensive line.
Guillory looks like he's going to get some run too.
Guillory's had a really good run over the last couple of days. Over the last couple of games. So I think that LSU's defensive line, that is that's one promise that Orgeron said that he was going to do, that he absolutely left in better position.
And I think that's the one spot that you expected it. You know, like that's his honey hole. You know, that's what you knew that you were going to be able to get that. And you know, I know he wanted the 4-3, and like look, and he recruited towards that, right? And now, after a couple years of that, like we have those guys, but now we just figured out that.
Do you think you change recruiting philosophy again? Like, doesn't he have to? I would imagine they're not going to run a 4-3 again, so you're going to have to start bringing in.
You have to be multiple anyway.
Yeah, I understand that.
So like you can have a base defense, but you can't say, hey, I'm going to run a 4-3 and I'm going to stay with the 4-3. Like they showed that this year. You can't do that because if that's what you're going to do, it makes it easier to scheme against. And with the offensive coaches that we have in the SEC now, like that's not going to fly. You have to be able to be multiple. You have to be able to be creative, and you have to be able to disguise coverages and disguise blitzes and disguise defenses. And that's, you know, we saw that towards the end of the year, and it made a huge difference. And like we have the ability at LSU and Louisiana to recruit athletes to be able to say we can run a 4-3, we can run a 3-4, we can have, 6 defensive backs. We can do whatever we need to do to be able to match up with the offense.
Hayden Paris, didn't Jordy say Savion Jones was a surefire first rounder? Still holding that opinion. Yeah, he looks like one. I mean, he's built like one. If he can get on the field and get things right and get developed, then he potentially could be one.
Only takes 1 year.
Hayden also said you look like you're changing the water pump in his 91 GMC Sierra.
Let's hope I'm not doing that, Hayden.
Sitting here laughing about it silently.
Let's hope I'm not doing that, buddy, because you won't get off the lot. You won't get off the lot, man.
Dying over here. Like, why is nobody laughing?
I didn't see that one.
That's funny.
If that was to happen, Hayden, you'd have a long day.
That's a long day.
Lloyd, can you make a room shot so people can see what's behind you? Because there's a lot of question about the paint on the wall behind you. Can everybody see that in the shot of the room?
The paint?
Yeah, like people. David questioned it too yesterday. Like, see, it's a vibe back there.
Oh, you can't see the actual wall yet.
Yeah.
Oh, but you will.
You will. In 2 weeks, you'll get a real good look at that wall.
That paint is on purpose. It's there on purpose.
Hayden, don't crawfish. I'm not crawfishing, buddy. I just said he could be a first-round pick.
Dude, you know who else surprised me was Xavier Carter. I didn't even know he was on the roster.
Yeah.
And he showed out in the bowl
game.
Xavier
Carter?
I know. That's what I said.
We have another Xavier Carter?
I started laughing when he said Xavier Carter. I was like, no way, because I thought of the immediate kneel down on the one.
That's a shame that people, because he's a world class athlete. He's a world class athlete. Like,
but on the football field, he never.
No.
It's all he really did. I think he took a slant route against Mississippi State.
90.
Yeah, or something like that. But I mean, I don't think that he ever made a football play.
I think he would fare better now in the offenses now than he did. I mean, he'd take a top. He would take a top of every defense. Like now, like he would have that, and they would just be more creative.
He's Cyril Grayson.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is. I mean, Tom Brady's hand-selected top wide receiver after Antonio Brown leaves the Bucs. Cyril Grayson.
That's what I was going to ask about. Can we talk about Antonio Brown, or have y'all talked about it too much?
We talked about it yesterday, but we can talk a little bit more about it if you want. I don't know.
Things have come out
with the woman like sneaking that he snuck
first of all,
hotel room,
you know who that girl is?
No, who?
An Instagram model?
So she's the Instagram mom. Remember the girl
What's
and
her name?
I forget her name. But who cares?
Ava?
Ava something.
Yeah, Ava Thought.
Yeah, whatever. She stinks. But she, in 2020, when COVID just happened, she was the girl that started the coronavirus challenge and licked the toilet seat on the airport in the airplane. That's her. And she's also the same girl that made up allegations against Dave Portnoy and Barstool.
Really?
And
Same
then
girl?
She seems awesome.
And Dave
fun.
obviously debunked that, and like obviously he's a polarizing guy, and like he's not gonna let it go, and he's been hammering on her on. Well, that's a bad word choice. He has been. Let me rephrase that. Not hammering her literally.
Why not?
He would film it if he did.
He is attacking her character because she attacked his character on Twitter, and so like he's really like showing like, okay, this is who she is, and then all of a sudden now she's the girl that is.
Do we have a photo?
And
of her?
Yeah,
to
her
make
nipples
to
are
make
in a
top,
bunch of 'em.
to make it worse, she posted a positive COVID test like yesterday or 2 days ago, and she says, she tags the Bucks. Test your players, Bucks.
That's awesome.
Because I've infiltrated your
Because
locker
I've been
room.
in there and I've been hooking up with
Awesome.
one of your guys. And it's like, oh man,
Little Phoenix
Are you
Suns
sure it's one?
territory.
dude,
Yeah.
she is.
Noah
she
and
is,
Reed
she
are still
stinks.
fighting, by the way,
Stinks.
live in the chat.
Over Darius Days?
Yes, they're still fighting.
No way.
Awesome.
He's compared him to Nikhil Alexander-Walker on the Pelicans, and
Darius Days?
Now you've stepped into Noah territory.
He said Nikhil got benched because he was playing bad, and
It's over.
And then he was like,
I will say this.
How's Days good at rebounding? He sits on 3-point line. I was like, it's two sides of the court. It's not just all.
I said this last night when we were all hanging out. I said, listen. I was
Brave.
like, I love basketball. Like I do. I love college basketball. I'm a fan of basketball. I'm not a diehard fan of like the NBA. I'm not gonna watch every NBA game. Noah is. I like the Pelicans. I enjoy going to the Pelicans game. I have never ever in my life been friends with or met someone who is a diehard Pelicans fan. I have now. And Noah. So who is you fighting with? Reed? Reed, you're in trouble, bro.
You're in trouble. Yeah, you don't want this action.
You're talking to
loss.
somebody that has more knowledge about what you're talking about than anybody I've ever met. So good luck.
Do you know how much Noah has to hate himself to make him watch all 82 Pelicans games? Like, you're in for... Like,
Hey, they're playing better though.
Yeah.
They are. They're playing better. They have a chance.
Dude, Noah's going to get hired on staff.
They have a chance.
Willie Green's a stud.
Yeah.
The thing is, I was like joking about him Googling earlier. Like, he's never Googling anything.
He's just
All the
typing
stuff that comes
furiously.
out
Yeah.
is like in his head.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, there she is.
I've looked before.
There
I've
she
been
is.
Like, where is he getting that?
She looks like she.
Oh.
She's classy.
She looks like she licks toilets.
I think she'll age well. I don't know what you're talking about. She'll look great at 40.
Those lips are real. I think.
Is she 40?
No, I said she'll
She
look great
might.
at
Is she-
40.
I mean-
Who knows how old she is? There's no way to tell.
She's probably 22, but she looks 35.
Who knows?
Who's-
She could be 55.
Wait, who's having it worse, her or Brittany?
Oh, Brittany, y'all.
Brittany.
Brittany.
I'm so proud
It's
of her.
okay.
Do your thing, girl. OnlyFans is a click away.
It's enough.
She
It's
said,
enough.
what'd she say? She said,
Girl power.
free woman energy. That's what she
Free
said.
woman energy.
Free woman energy. Hey, you know what? Go for it.
Oh man,
Jeez, bro. That picture
I know.
was...
So bad.
I mean, it looked like...
A cry for help.
When did she get those?
It
tats
looked straight
right?
at...
She's
It
She's
had
had
those-
those forever.
straight
You
up.
had those?
Straight
They just
up.
don't look
it
as
looked
good as
straight
they
out
did
of...
used to look. I don't think.
No, that's exactly right.
Tattoos do.
I mean, it felt like Tangipahoa Parish. Didn't it?
I know.
Oh,
no
man.
offense, Tangipahoa
No
Parish
offense
people,
at all,
yeah.
but I mean, it
You know
felt
who you
like
are.
she was sitting in the middle of an
Yeah.
A-meat flat.
It
You
did.
know what I mean? Like,
It
it
did.
just was like, wow, that looks so South Louisiana.
It hurts.
Man.
That's,
Where-
I mean, that
I've
is
seen-
I've been to that
where-
party.
what
that is so
where is
Tangipahoa
Kentwood?
Parish.
Is it-
Tangipahoa?
Is that where
yeah,
it's at? I thought you
absolutely.
were just throwing
Like
that out
Kentwood, Independence,
Yeah.
Okay.
Hammond.
Yeah, okay,
all
okay.
You know what I
that.
mean?
I know her dad went to Southeastern.
We stay straight,
Yeah.
they go left.
Her dad and Gino are
Tight.
they're
I mean,
roommates.
she
Yeah.
has teenage boys, like as kids. Like,
Right.
what are they?
forgot
and
she
their
has- I forgot
friends
she's a
looking at
parent.
that
That's what
thinking?
happened to the
You do
tattoos.
forget she's a parent.
Mm-hmm.
You really do. She's never with her kids, but like they're seeing that. Think about that.
Well, not only that, they'll see it forever.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you'll
Well,
see
there's
it.
a lot of pictures of Brittany out there. This is probably one of the
There
better
are.
ones to flood the timeline with.
But why is she doing it? I mean, it's attention,
She's-
I guess, right? But I mean,
Look, I don't know.
what's her end
I
game
think
with
because
this?
she missed so much time
Yeah.
of her life being
A star.
in prison.
Yeah.
like she was imprisoned in her own home.
Yeah.
That it's almost like she's trying to relive that and show that she gives zero.
Yeah.
She doesn't care.
Yeah.
She doesn't care what you think, what I say,
Right.
what people are out there saying or thinking of her. She's just making up for lost time.
Yeah, exactly. It's like she was in a time capsule, and
Yeah.
then she came out. She doesn't realize that it's not 2001. Dude.
I would
Right.
like to.
But I
would,
love that she thinks it is. Like,
I would
you're
like to
saying.
actually meet her.
Me
like,
too.
And just listen to her talk and just see like, okay, is she like
She's
fried or is
Yeah.
she like,
Yeah.
if she's just doing this because she's like playing this role, which
I
I
feel
don't
like
think.
probably fried.
Fried.
I think it's fried.
Like I feel like having a
But I don't wanna
conversation
make
with
that
her would be
assumption.
weird.
I
Like
don't
it's
wanna
one
make
of
that
those
assumption.
people that you don't really like. You know they're not absorbing anything you're saying.
Yeah.
You know they're just kind of there in their
Yeah.
own
I love
world and
that.
thoughts.
Yeah, which is, I mean, like, I'm down with, but I can't.
What? Why though?
I can't. Well, I mean, I'm not knocking anybody who's like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not.
But I mean, you know, it's
I
hard
would
to
want.
have a
I would almost want to be
conversation.
like, Britt,
I know.
Give her
Come on.
give her.
I don't
snap
think
out
you
of
can
it.
though. I don't think
Snap out of it.
I don't think anyone's getting her out of this. Snapping
no,
her out of
no,
it.
no, no. I
Well,
don't
no,
think
she's
anybody
on
is.
it.
No, it's.
OnlyFans
I think
is
if
coming.
I think if you
coming.
actually were to press her for change, you would like send her more
Yeah.
the other way.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, because people have done that to her
Her whole life.
so much
Yeah.
over the last 10 years that she's probably like, whatever somebody tells me to do, I'm going opposite.
Right.
Get how you live it, Brittany. You ain't affecting me.
Yeah.
Go do what you gotta do.
I like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
she's
yeah,
doing
yeah.
it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She got her first time.
I do feel sorry for her kids.
I do too.
Yeah. Yeah, that sucks.
I mean, especially when you got like boys.
Well,
you
what
know what I
about
mean?
her
Like
fiance?
teenage boys.
Like, how would you feel? If
He
your
loves it.
fiance-
He's got to be
think
taking the
he's-
pictures, right?
He's pushing. He's pushing that. He likes that. I think.
He wants to. He wants to
He'll
have.
probably be on
was,
the OnlyFans.
was
with it.
yesterday like an old school selfie? Like she had the camera.
It seemed like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the bathroom thing, right? The mirror selfie.
Yeah. It was tough. It was a tough. It was tough to see the Pepsi Queen of 2005.
I wonder where that snake went that she used to bring on stage. I hope that has a nice home.
The
It's
boa.
probably
It was
still
the,
alive,
the
yeah.
boa.
The
That was
boa
her and
constrictor.
Madonna, huh?
Yeah, and Christina Aguilera.
Wow.
That was my character for the Britney party.
Wow.
Would you rather be Britney or Christina?
Christina.
I mean,
There's not even a
Man,
question.
that's
Britney's
hard.
kept her figure though.
Christina's more talented though.
Ooh.
Christina's more talented.
wow,
Damn, Mikey,
that bold.
That's strong.
And I also did watch
I mean,
Burlesque the other
Christina's not
night.
getting. She's not getting the.
I did watch Burlesque. If you want to see how talented Christina Aguilera is, go watch Burlesque.
Is it
Yeah.
burlesque or?
Yeah.
mean-
Moulin Rouge, you mean?
No.
Wait,
Isn't
Burlesque.
that Burlesque, right? That's Christina Aguilera in Burlesque.
Oh, wait, there's a movie called Burlesque?
You've never seen Burlesque?
Noah's watching Pelicans games. So
With
he's no-
Cher.
No.
Cher's
No, I have not.
Christina Aguilera.
When was it filmed?
No, I haven't
It was
seen
a
that.
great movie, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I have not.
Allie
seen
was watching it the other day, and like obviously I can't control the TV when she has the remote. So
How does that go?
what?
That
that.
What's that?
the remote.
Oh, I control it for 95% of the time, but there's
You let
nothing.
it-
There's nothing on TV, so she got it that day, and she was watching Burlesque, and I don't mind. I like all movies.
I
I
don't
don't
mind a
care.
burlesque show.
So I watched it. I mean,
Let me
Christina
go walk the
Aguilera in
dog real
Burlesque
quick
is
and we
great.
can watch whatever you want.
I like Christina, and I think maybe probably because this whole Britney Spears stuff going on right now. But
All right, I'll check out Burlesque then.
yeah, check it out.
What is her go-to that you've kind of fallen into? It's like, ooh, I like that. Like guilty pleasure show. Like you know it's trash, but you don't mind watching.
Under deck.
Under deck.
Below
What's
deck.
that? Oh.
Under Deck is way different.
I don't really have a guilty pleasure
Under
show. I don't
deck.
think like
Like you don't watch trash TV?
I don't really watch reality. No, I mean
Yeah, I don't either.
a lot. You know what a lot of baseball players do watch because they get
Cops.
caught. No, cops aren't even on TV anymore.
Well, that's just what I remember whenever we would go in baseball tournaments and like you're in the hotel room for a long time.
Yeah,
it's
but-
like cops.
But baseball guys, like, I don't even know if baseball guys. I think just guys in general. They're not. And a lot of them aren't gonna admit it. I don't. Allie doesn't watch the show, so I don't watch it. But The
Whoa.
Bachelor, dude.
Yeah, I watch it.
That was
See?
a lot of.
See,
that was a
that's
lot
like-
of qualifying to
That
say you don't
was.
watch
That's
something.
It really
that's
was.
but that's the that's like
I don't watch it. Allie doesn't watch it, but The Bachelor.
I don't.
There's one a lot at our
Did
house.
you see
Don't
you
watch
didn't get
it.
a rose?
Somehow it's just
I
on.
don't, but I used to live with three guys in spring training, and these three guys, they're all like big league guys, and they would all want like The Bachelor come on, they would all watch it. I'm like, what are we doing? And that's like more people than you think watch The Bachelor.
Oh no, I
Oh,
think
yeah, a lot
that
of
I think
people
that
do.
that is absolutely.
Yeah, they do.
Well, I think
Yeah.
like kind of like the play on podcasts is to do like the Bachelor breakdown. You You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
We're
a
not
lot
gonna
of
do that.
a lot of
apparently-
podcasts go back and do like some Bachelor.
I know Barstool does it. And I'm not even gonna say because I just said I don't watch it. And I don't, but Barstool posts
Again,
and so
again,
he listens to podcasts
you and the
about
qualifiers,
it.
dude.
So
How do you feel about porn? I don't watch it. I don't know anything about it.
Never touched stuff.
Yeah,
Don't know
right.
what it
I mean,
is.
I know it did $8 billion last year, but I wouldn't know anything about it.
I mean,
Have you
I'm
seen
just
Burlesque
saying.
after
I
midnight?
I just can't believe I've ever seen Burlesque. It's a great movie.
No, I've not. I've got to see
Great
it
movie.
now.
It's a great movie.
Jeez, yeah.
How long do you think you would last? Which one is the guys go out or
The
the one-
Bachelorette's the one. I would never. I would get in a fight with somebody. I think. Those guys
On what?
Those guys are losers.
On what?
The Bachelorette. Like if I was fighting for a girl, like all these other dudes, I'm
Right.
like, these guys are dorks.
Well, is it different for the girls fighting for the guy? Do you feel differently about that?
No, I mean like same thing. Like the girls are doing stuff that like it's an act. Like
Yeah.
it's not like it's stupid. Like it's stupid.
They should
It
put
is
one
stupid.
person in there that's normal. Like,
But they do.
you
But the
don't
normal
know.
person never wins. They don't ever get the TV time because it's not interesting.
I would absolutely get eliminated first. No rose for Lloyd.
I'd eliminate
for
myself.
sure. Me
I'd
too.
eliminate myself.
Yeah, me too.
You would get eliminated first.
Really? Thank
Because
you.
of that attitude.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him all night. Like, thank God.
Right.
This guy's over here playing ping pong all night. Just made a best friend.
What are your thoughts on microdosing?
It's actually very efficient. It can open up your brain a little bit. I learned a lot last night.
Give me that rose.
Noah and Reed are still fighting in the bunker, by instance. They
Noah's
really
making
are.
a
We just
friend.
got
It's amazing.
baseball players just got called soft because. of the
Well, I mean,
Bachelorettes.
your breakdown of The Bachelor would. That
But
would
why does that
that'd
make
be
you
a
soft?
pretty
Or I would say this makes you more comfortable with
Who
with
you
we
are.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, I wear heels
You
in
know?
the house. I feel very manly.
No?
Can you jump in those heels?
Are you
Though?
jumping?
How high?
Open toe, closed toe.
Depends if the boss is home.
How did Chris Rose screw up that gig?
I think he purposely. I think he like.
You
Eliminated
think he played himself out of it?
I think it was like a.
A 20-year
like a
run.
political thing. Like,
Yeah.
like,
No, it definitely was politics, and I
Yeah.
don't want to get into what he
Yeah.
said for. But I mean, that had to be the sweetest gig in
Yeah.
entertainment.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the gift that keeps on giving. You can make a number of those per like qualifying television period.
Yeah.
They've got bachelors in the fall, spring, summer, winter. I mean, they don't have no dead period.
No.
I mean, and
They got all
It's
this
like
kinds-
guy-
Survivor.
It
They
is.
got all kinds of different shows.
And then you have spin-offs of The Bachelor, The Bachelorette,
And
The
Bachelor in
Paradise.
Paradise.
I mean,
Yeah.
all of these
Qualifiers.
shows that you can you
dumb,
spun
right?
off. I mean, like
Seems dumb.
who was it? Wasn't Chris Rose? Not Chris. I'm thinking of Chris Rose from the NFL Network. Who was the
You're thinking, I know.
Chris
Harrison.
Chris Harris? Is
Yeah.
it Chris Harrison?
Chris Hansen.
Hansen?
No, Harrison.
No, stop. That's
It is Harrison, I think. It is
Come
Harrison.
have a seat right over here.
I'm Chris Hansen. No, you're not.
Oh my God! The South Park of the Chris Hansen episode is an all-timer.
It is the best.
Come have a seat right over here. Oh my God!
It is the best.
Just immediately killed themselves. Like, nope, not doing this. That show is peak like.
That's my trash TV. It's not trash
Absolutely.
TV, but
Yeah.
South Park, Rick and Morty, like I'll watch
See,
it all
I
night.
You're
never
outing
got
yourself,
into South
Katie.
Park.
Oh, you
What?
can.
I never got
Get
into it,
into
but
it.
there was a couple of episodes.
Oh,
The Tom
iconic.
Cruise and the Jersey Shore episode
God.
are the best. The Jersey Shore episode on Snooki is
It is awesome.
absolute.
It is awesome.
It is, and then the Tom Cruise one is so just dead
They're
on balls,
they're
accurate.
brilliant
It's unreal
writers.
how.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well, I mean, they've been doing it forever.
Yes.
You know, like
They
they
are
have
so
multiple
smart.
shows too. It's not just South Park.
Yeah.
They do a bunch of different.
Do you
other
know
stuff.
how they do that show?
Chris Harrison. Sorry.
Yeah, Chris Harrison.
Bo Juro. Thank you, buddy.
Do you know how they like write episodes for South Park? They don't do it throughout the like. They don't plan each episode out like previously. They go Wednesday to Wednesday. They do it 7 days. They write each episode live. So there's times.
That's
they do-
awesome.
Right,
That's probably why
right.
it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
Well,
not
it's
so-
culturally.
Yeah, that's why it's always on the nose. It's because it's very culturally
Yeah,
like
it is.
Right.
up to date. But there's a special where they like go inside the writers' room. It's like 48 hours with the guys.
Yeah.
And there's times that they have 20 hours left. They have done nothing on the whiteboard. It's like, we're not going to make an episode. Like, and they did it for 20 years without missing a Wednesday. And this time they have it like, it's Tuesday night. Like, we still haven't done production. We don't have a story. And it's like, I
seems
have.
familiar.
Yes, I was about to say, like, when I was watching it, I wasn't doing the show. I was like, that would be miserable. I'm like, all right, I'm here and it is miserable.
It is.
But we'll
that's
figure it out.
One show
It's a
I never
beautiful
got
part
in-
of it.
Oh, yeah. Because once you're forced, it's like writing a paper in college.
Yeah,
if you
absolutely.
put it off, you'll
Yep.
get it out there.
Have
One of
y'all
them-
seen the post-pandemic special that's on
Uh-uh.
Paramount?
Me too.
Oh, it's so good. You got to see it.
One of the most
South Park?
Yeah.
They
One
start
of the
talking
longest,
NFTs.
the longest
awesome.
running show out there right now, or one of them is The Simpsons. I've never seen this one episode.
Me
Me
either.
either.
I don't watch The Simpsons.
Me either.
Not one episode. And,
never seen
and
it.
it always comes on after the football. Like,
Yeah.
and I just never watch it.
Never seen it.
That was a Courtney family tradition. We
Was
would
it?
race to the
Simpsons,
couch.
really?
Wow.
To
Aw,
beat
I
the
love that.
Somebody's
Simpsons on
gotta
the
watch
couch.
it.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just
People
one of the
are
most.
I mean, like I've
successful-
always thought, like somebody out there was
Yeah,
watching
clearly.
this. I mean, for this to be on TV for this long, somebody's sitting down and viewing it. But
Clearly.
it has never been.
Nope.
And I've never been drawn to it.
Nope, neither.
Daily, we are brought to you by Cajun Ready Mix Concrete. Remember, CajunRMC.com. Cajun Ready Mix, you can find them online at CajunRMC.com. Get in touch with them today about residential, commercial, industrial, municipal concrete needs that you need for any project. Find them online at CajunRMC.com. They got 9 plants around the greater Baton Rouge area. Means if you were to order concrete, it'll be exactly to the specification and on time. CajunRMC.com is where you find them. That's the website. Check them out. Cajun Ready Mix Concrete, bringing you the Jordy Culotta Show daily here. People asking if we heard Dawn Staley's comments last night in the post game. Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny.
I actually have not heard them. I
didn't. I read them.
Yeah.
Kind of. I read a
She
little bit.
she essentially said that.
Sounds like you haven't read them either.
Well, I have. No. I mean, she said a lot of things, but she ultimately what people are reacting to is she said that if Nikki Fargas would have received the same amount of support that Kim Mulkey did last night, that she would have experienced the same type of success.
Yeah, that's the only part I read.
Which I think is eye-rolling. I think that is almost comical, and I think that is Dawn Staley just trying to really stand up for her friend, Nikki Fargas. But the truth is, Dawn, and I don't mean to disrespect you because she is a Hall of Fame coach. She's a Hall of Fame player, and she runs an incredible program. Her team is #1 in the country, and she is a phenomenal coach, not just a women's basketball coach. She's a great coach. But in this instance, she has no idea what she's talking about. She has no clue what she's talking about from the standpoint of you weren't around the LSU basketball program, the LSU women's basketball program, for the tenure of Nikki Fargas every single day and did not see how just inept, out of touch, and disconnected she was to the fan base. And it's no accident that there is that type of support for Mulkey because she's put the energy and effort out into the public to get that type of interest put back to her in return.
Well, you think that? I mean, do you think that people just get people just show up just because they want to show up? No, they're showing up because the women's basketball team is winning. They're good. If you win 9 games in a season, if Kim Mulkey was 4-11, you think that it would have had 10,000 people in? No. They're not showing up because it's just because Kim Mulkey. Kim Mulkey has brought the attention and brought the energy to the women's basketball, but she has made them good. So that's why they're showing up. It has nothing to do about they're giving her support, that's why they're good. No. They were good, and now they're getting the support. I don't understand
what spurred the question. What spurred her, or what spurred that answer?
Talking about just the crowd.
Yeah, they were talking about the
Okay.
crowd. So here it is, and this is coming from the Daily Advertiser. The crowd was so large on whiteout night, in fact, that Staley also credited it for allowing LSU its early double-digit lead. It's called over 10,000 people wearing white, and they had the energy in the building, and they were playing really well. They got good shots, and they got the shots they wanted. They played with the same grit, said Staley, that they played with when Fargas was here. I thought Nikki did a good job of getting the most out of them. I mean, if she got the support Kim is getting, the energy in the building, I mean, it's going to raise the level of play. So the people in the building will allow that to happen. If Nikki got a chance to do that, maybe she would still be sitting here.
Nikki had a chance. She went 9 and whatever last year. She
Dawn.
get out of here.
John, it sounds like you're very
outta
upset that
here.
Kim Mulkey is at LSU and you have competition.
That's
now.
exactly right.
You know
That
Kim
is
Mulkey's about to
exactly
take
right.
your spot in the top spot of the women's basketball. So get out of here.
That sounds
That's
like, you know what
stupid.
that sounds like? That sounds like what Nick Saban sounded like when Les Miles was fired at LSU. It sounds exactly like that. It sounds like Dawn Staley was so used to running this league and being the alpha in this league and on the sidelines, she appreciated schools like LSU who didn't give a damn about their women's basketball program at the time, and just would throw 780,000 at a losing product like they were doing with Nikki Fargas. Nikki Fargas never showed a sign of wanting to commit to getting better. She never showed a sign of wanting to commit to get out into the community and get people interested and intrigued into her program. And from Dawn Staley's point of view, Nikki Fargas was an easy win every single year. You know what LSU basketball is not anymore to anyone, especially Dawn Staley in the league? An easy W. And that's why Dawn Staley is, I guess, it sounds like to me, putting that out in the public. Because if you remember, when Les Miles was released by LSU, one of the only voices out of the SEC that was really giving reaction to it was Nick Saban. And Saban was saying how disrespectful it was to treat a guy like Les Miles like that who had given so much. Hey, Nick, get the hell out of here, bro. This guy's a bum chasing more skirt on campus than anybody that was in a fraternity at the time. The reason,
contraire, my friend.
The reason why you want him in the position is because all you had to do was copy and paste your game plan every year against the guy because he wasn't working.
It was a simulation game for him on Madden.
He liked the old toss dive. He liked those plays. He liked the I formation. He liked having that game and knowing that, okay, you know what, they're probably gonna try to play really good defense, but they're not gonna be able to get past the 50-yard line on us. That's it.
They ran one reverse off the toss dive ever, and it blew Nick Saban's mind.
Look, I thought that was an embarrassing comment from Dawn Staley last night, and Dawn Staley is as well respected of a coach that you'll find in the industry, not just in women's college basketball. But I think that comment really showed that you got some bias. You know, I mean, it's obviously you've got an agenda with a comment like that because that makes zero sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
It makes completely utter nonsense actually. To say that out loud, knowing what Kim Mulkey has done in just 6 months compared to what Nikki Fargas did over 10 years, it's not even in the same arena to look at. Literally, we talk about the crowd. That's a great representation of it, right? 15 games in, you're 10,000 strong. 10 years in, you couldn't sell a ticket to Nikki Fargas's games and program.
Yep.
So for that to be a take from a Hall of Fame coach, I thought was very out of touch, very off base, and from somebody who is living in South Louisiana and seen that culture and that program up close for the last decade, it's nonsense. It makes zero. It's so out of bounds.
Too little, too late.
Yeah,
Coach. Sorry about that. Monkey's already out the bottle.
You
gotta fight Kim Mulkey for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. But whatever, you know, she said what she said. She's friends with Nikki Fargas and whatever.
Yeah.
Is it Vargas or Fargas?
Fargas.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said Fargas, right?
Yeah.
I said it right. Okay.
Some other announcements from LSU football. Avery Atkins is going pro. Cade York is going pro. I think that Cade York, not so much surprising, right? Like that's not a big of a surprise as Avery Atkins is.
That's why you go and signed our guy that
Dibbert. Nathan Dibbert, who is the number 2 overall field goal kicker in the country out of Michigan, is coming in early, and he'll be here on LSU's campus. So you get that position replaced. But I don't think that it was a surprise to see Cade York for as strong of a leg as he has and so consistent in making field goals at a college level. He really feels like he's ready for the NFL. And Avery Atkins, as we said a little earlier, somebody who can punt and kick the ball as a combination prospect is somebody that's always going to jump off to the NFL. But somebody who can kick it off and put it in the end zone consistently, that's a weapon in football. I mean, if you can take the ball out of the hands of these explosive playmakers and not give them opportunities to return kickoffs, that's a huge weapon. If you remember when Ogeron took over, when they recruited Avery Atkins specifically, that's exactly what they were looking for. Miles used to do that stupid stuff where he'd try to kick it into the corner, and more times than none, you'd kick it out of bounds and give the ball to the team. You know, you give the.
I'll never forget.
Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama game.
Yeah.
No timeouts, and the guy kicks the ball out of bounds.
Typical Miles, where he was like directing his kicker
Cam
to
Gamble?
kick it into the corner, like kick it. Almost like it was like why would you tell the kicker you got all this field to play with? Just kick it. Just kick the son of a bitch out of the back of the end zone, bro.
What are you doing?
Look at him.
Yeah.
I was there. It's the first time I ever let myself think for just 2 seconds, like LSU's going to win this game.
Yeah, but when the ball went
about
out of
to
bounds,
go.
I think everybody knew.
I know.
What
That's
really
the only thing you couldn't do.
what cost him was a Vidal Alexander personal foul. If you remember, they had.
But that's not his fault.
Are you reading something? Or are you
No,
just
this
are
is
you
just how I think
bummed
about the
down there?
game. It's
Okay.
just
You're
one of
just
my
sad.
worst memories
I
of
told,
my
I
life.
told you about that. That was my meme-worthy moment of like if the camera caught me in the stands like that.
Surrender Cobra?
What is that? Yeah.
What's that
I don't
mean?
know what that means.
That's when you put like whenever you see all the people in the stands, they're like, oh,
That's
Surrender Cobra.
That's would have been if I would have had
heard
that.
that.
I would have been that person because it was.
Surrender Cobra.
That's what they call it.
Okay.
'Cause, you know, like Cobras have
Yeah, I
like the
get
hood,
it.
so you're
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah, I've never heard that. It's cool though.
and you
learned
just don't want to
something
get
new.
caught on camera with it. You don't want
I
to look,
didn't.
and you don't want to look like the Alabama fan at Alabama with his girlfriend who was crying, trying to like rationalize how you could lose 9-6 to that guy. And he's like, I don't know what happened. I mean, they ran the ball. I thought Michael Ford did step out of bounds, or he still
Michael
did.
Ford. What a name.
Yeah,
Forgot
He
about
scored.
Michael Ford.
he did score. Did he step out?
I think he did.
Yeah, I know, but for those brief 3 seconds, it was like, this thing's fucking over. Let's go. And then you're like, oh, we got to line it up and kick it. And it's like, oh, no.
There's so many. Like he scored. Patrick Peterson had the interception in 2010 that they screwed us over on.
There's a theory out there that he was touched by Julio Jones, who was out of bounds, who made Patrick Peterson out of
the hell
bounds.
outta
This
here.
is what, and I was like, that can't be what the
the hell
referee
outta
saw.
here.
And then you have Chad Jones pointing at the turf on
got
the
a piece of
ground.
turf
That's what
kicked
I'm saying.
up.
He was looking at, like he was telling the ref, he was on the ground pointing at it, and they're just like, no, this doesn't matter.
I think every year Alabama week, Peterson he sends
He
out.
retweets it, yeah.
Well, he sends out that screenshot where that screenshot alone. I mean, he's standing in bounds with the ball.
Right.
Such a
You know what I
professional
mean?
play.
It is.
What a
It is.
game that was.
And I
too.
remember watching that live and being like, "Oh my God, he caught that ball," because it was such a big time play. Like it happened so quick, where he caught it, drug his feet. I mean, like he picked the turf up.
Oh, I think that's what probably
They
was,
reviewed it too, right?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They reviewed it.
And it was on the
Yeah.
screen, and everybody's like, well, there's
Yeah.
no way. There's
Right.
no way they don't overturn this. Like, nope. And you're just like, all right, fuck this thing. I'm
And then
out
like
here.
2 plays later, Julio takes a screen.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, to
That
the
was
house.
probably one of the best battles of,
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
in like recent college football, like of the era. Those two guys that you knew were pros.
I don't know. That's not really that recent anymore. It's
And
12
that's why
years.
I went with the era, because it's been
Yeah.
like, it feels like 20.
Well, that's when the LSU Alabama game
Yeah.
was.
That's the
That's
LSU,
when
yeah.
I was like getting the reputation of
Golly, this is
the
NFL.
best. Yeah, I mean, like we're gonna look back at this game in 3 years and see all the pros on the sidelines. I mean, like it was always this lore of the LSU Alabama game, and that was in its heyday. I mean,
Yeah.
that was
I mean, the
matchup.
5 stars on each side, man.
The 2011 defense is go look at the 2 deep roster on both teams
Yeah.
from 2011. I think they're all in the NFL. Or all made it to the NFL.
They all got chances for sure.
That's impressive.
That 2011 game, I think, still to this day, or it might be the 2019 game now, when you look at those two teams, has produced the most pros. I mean, that 2011 game, it was stupid. There was first rounders standing on the sideline that weren't playing that night.
Crazy.
But 2019 had the same thing. I mean, 2019, when you just look at the amount of pros that were on the field that day, I mean, it was really like an NFL football game.
No, I think you and Reed need to do the Surrender Cobra at this point. They're still going.
We got some. I love that. We got
They
some.
keep ending
It's
it.
all good.
We have
It's
some
all good.
baseball
Let 'em go.
talk. We have some baseball talk on here. I like it. We have the boys are ramping up right now. I was hitting out the field again yesterday, and boys are in and out. They're throwing. They're doing their stuff. They're doing a lot of like it's kind of like a player run. They're not allowed to have full team practices yet, or like coaches be really involved. So
When do they report?
Well, I mean, they don't. Technically, they're not allowed.
Because they start
to,
February 14th.
Right. So technically, they're not allowed to have practices until whenever school starts, the 18th, whenever they get there. But Jay was like, hey, just want to let y'all know, like, technically, you don't have to do anything until this day. But just know when we get here, we're full go. Scrimmages, first day we come in, we're ready to go. So y'all better be prepped and ready. And so everybody's back, and they are. they're grinding. They got, I know someone said, can we talk about Cruz being put on a second team preseason? I don't care about
preseason.
Preseason All-American teams don't mean shit. Like, there's so many guys that get put on these deals because of, for some reason or another, and it doesn't matter. All that matters is at the end of the season.
What do you think about Cruz?
I mean, he's the best. He's the best player in college. One of the best players in college baseball.
Like all around or hitter?
All around hitter. I know he's.
Cannon.
I think he's gonna play center this year. I think he'll be able to play center here. I don't think he's gonna center fielder in the big leagues. I think he's gonna be a right fielder, a corner outfielder. But I mean, he's one of the better hitters I've seen come through. I mean, what he did last year as a freshman, his first year at LSU, is unbelievable. And I mean, he has the potential to go 1-1 his junior year. I mean, he's the number one prospect in that 2023 class. Number one college draft prospect. Now, obviously, it's college because you have high school, but if he goes out there and he shows that he can be, like, he's good defensively, but if he can go out there and he can show he can play center field and be good in center, I mean, I think you mark it down. He's gonna go, at least top 3. He's good. He's the best hitter I've seen in college as a freshman since Anthony Rendon.
Wow.
What makes him so good of a hitter?
The way he controls the plate. Like, first of all, he walks up to the plate and you look at him like, this guy's a big leaguer.
Mm-hmm.
Just his
he
presence,
does look like a big leaguer.
Just his presence, like they use the term in baseball. He looks hitterish, which means like, man, this guy's in the box and like this guy just looks like he's about to hit a home run. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he gets there and like he has that presence about him. His plate, the way he approaches he hits everything to right field. Like, you can't beat him with a fastball. So like he drives balls out to right field, right center, and you try to get in there and then he pulls down the left field line for a homer. So like he has the ability to do everything you want at the plate, and the way he understands the zone, the way he understands kind of how they're going to attack him, he makes adjustments on the fly. That's the most important thing is like you can go up there with a plan. And the pitcher does something, he makes a couple pitches, and you got to make an adjustment like right there, like in the box, and say, okay, this is what I was gonna do. This is not how he's pitching me. I got to make this adjustment, and he makes the adjustment better than most.
Trey Morgan
has great bat to ball skills. He's got that swag. He's got that New Orleans swag on the baseball field that you don't really see much. But he's got great bat to ball skills. He's got great plate discipline. I think he's got a lot more juice in the tank than he's shown. But some people say,
what do you mean, power?
Yeah, I think he has. He hit, I think, 6 or 7 homers last year. I think he has the ability to hit double-digit homers. But his game is, I'm gonna drive balls in the gap. I'm gonna make contact. I'm gonna get on base. I'm not gonna swing and miss too much. And by doing that, he probably takes away from some of his power numbers, which is fine. Next year, I'd expect him to hit 10 homers this year. I expect him to make that next jump as far as a power hitter. And then you have, Doty, and you have
a lot of it stacked.
Barry. I mean, your lineup is, and nobody's talking about Dugas. And that guy led the team in homers and RBIs last year. Like, that guy is, you put him in there, he's going to hit you close to 20 homers this year. Like, their lineup is, and I mean, Thompson's a freshman. He had some big moments. Like, they are good. Now they're going to have to figure out the pitching thing. Pitching is going to be the biggest thing. Like, I know we talk about how good their offense is, and that's really good. But in the SEC especially, you're going to have to pitch. Play good defense, but you have to have guys on the mound to be able to get you out because, everybody's going to – like, other teams are going to be – you're going to go face Vanderbilt and Ole Miss and Mississippi State and all these big-time teams, and they all are going to be able to throw. They're all – Vanderbilt's going to throw out guys in their bullpen consistently at throwing 95+. And like, you just have to be able to keep up with them on the mound. And I think we will. Someone's going to step up. You would hope someone's going to step up to be that ace. But, offense is probably going to have to carry it a little early, and then the pitchers are going to figure their stuff out.
How do you think NIL is going to affect baseball? Do you think it will?
I think it will a little bit. I think that the NIL, the teams that are going to get the most money in baseball and NIL are in the SEC, and they're already getting the players anyway. Like all these guys, it's just teams are going to have to. I think we're going to start seeing it once the season starts coming. Like NIL started. This is the first year, and it was football, and everything was like going into football, and then now it's basketball. I think once baseball season starts ramping up, you're going to start hearing about more NIL deals. I think there's they're going to have to get a little bit more creative because it's not a very marketable sport, and especially in college. I mean, they don't really the MLB doesn't do a good job of marketing the baseball players in the big leagues. College, I mean, baseball in college is even more regionalized. It's less marketable, college baseball. So they're going to get creative. I think you're going to see a lot of maybe companies or people running camps for kids and players and saying, hey, look, this is the Dylan Cruz baseball camp, and there's it's for a weekend over the summer, and there's 300 people, and you get all this stuff, and Dylan Cruz goes there and talks to them and does something for a few, and like I think that's how you're going to see a lot of things, but I think they're going to get creative with it. I don't know. I'm interested to see kind of how that pans out.
Andrew Messina, can Mikey talk about his plans for 2022 professionally, or because of the lockout you can't talk on it?
I can talk about anything. I mean, we're in a lockout. My plans.
I was going to ask you about that.
What the lockout?
Yeah, it's 36 days old. So do you see an end?
I mean, it's going to end.
A lot of people are saying the end of January or maybe into February.
I mean, that's what everybody. It's the way this thing works is the owners aren't going to give us. We have given them a proposal, right? They don't like the proposal. They haven't given us a counter. That's where we're at. They, historically, what they're going to do is they're not going to do anything. And they're going to sit on their hands, and they're going to make us just wait. And they're probably going to start throwing some stuff out in the media. I mean, they already fired Ken Rosenthal. I don't know if anybody knows who Ken Rosenthal is. He's one of the most well-known baseball reporters out there, worked for MLB, worked for the Athletic. They fired him because he was critical of the commissioner. The commissioner stinks. He stinks. He's not very good at his job. He hasn't shown good leadership at all. And that's the consensus around the players. That's the consensus around the union. So what the owners are going to do, they're going to wait, and they're going to send over an offer at the 11th hour, and it's going to get done. It's just spring training may start in March instead of February. I don't know, but my plans are to still play. I can sign technically, but it would be very it wouldn't be the most prudent thing to do to sign right now, and then the lockout ends and they sign 4 or 5 guys that they're putting on the big league roster, and then you start falling down the depth chart. So the ultimate goal is to get back to the big leagues and have an opportunity to do that. And so you just have to wait until everything just kind of
figures itself
out. And it will. I mean, we're gonna play. They can't listen. If we don't play baseball this year, baseball's dead. Baseball's dying. It's not as much fun. It's an old man sport that they're trying to, but it hasn't been it's
modernized.
Yeah, it hasn't, and we're starting to. The bat flipping thing is becoming more of a norm, which I'm all for. Obviously you don't want to show someone up if it's if you don't need to, but if you hit a home run and you want to celebrate, it's hard to hit a home run. You play, if you have 500 at bats in a season and you hit 30 home runs, that means 30 swings out of the 500 at bats or go over the fence. Mm-hmm. That's a hard thing to do. That's not a high percentage. So you hit a home run, celebrate. I don't care. Pitchers, if you have a big strikeout and you want to celebrate, that's fine. That rift
is what makes it great. You want to see competition.
It's good for baseball, right? But with that, with it being a kind of a boring quote unquote sport to some people, and going through the issues we had with COVID, having a shortened season, because baseball was the first sport that had to really, it affected the entire season. It's we didn't have a season. We couldn't start the season on time.
It was like a 65-game sprint or something.
It was like a 62-game season, yeah.
It's awesome, actually.
Yeah, it was fun, but it doesn't tell you really anything, And after that, after all of the stuff that happened with the owners and the players and how we couldn't really figure some stuff out, you go through last season, you realize hey, they didn't really lose that as much money as they said they lost. Then we had this next season; it was a good season, and now we have this. If you don't play and you basically lose 2 seasons in the next 3, that's not good for baseball.
Yeah, that is right.
So we're gonna get it figured out. There needs to be lock us in the room with the owners, and we just need to make amends. And we just need to say, hey, you know what? If everybody wants us to succeed and everybody wants baseball to grow and catch up to football and basketball and be popular again, then we need to start getting along and start compromising, figuring out how to make this work.
Mulhan Law Firm brings you the Jordy Culotta Show, your local, reliable legal team with 50 years of combined experience. They offer a wide range of services. Things they can help you with is things like personal injury, wills and trusts, family law, entertainment law. Online, MulhanLawFirmLA.com. MulhanLawFirmLA.com, 225-926-8533, 225-926-8533. As we said, personal injury, business organizations, whether you're starting a new business or you need to draft contractual agreements for a current business, they can help. Wills and trust, if you estate planning and you need help to ensure your family is protected, get in touch with Mulhan Law Firm. MulhanLawFirmLA.com is where you find them online. We'll come back and talk to Nathan Velasquez here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Make sure and hit that like button, share button, comment button. We appreciate you being here with us on this Friday. We'll be back with Nathan Velasquez and close it out.
Has he seen The Matrix? I watched the new one. It gave me a panic attack.
You watched the new one?
Yeah.
How was it?
I wanted to watch the other one.
I really want to go watch.
You need to watch the first one.
Well, I have before.
No, I know, but I should have done the same thing.
Okay,
Like I just jumped right into it, but it's like a remake of the first one almost. Like it's obviously I was really fermented up, and I got lost in the Matrix and what it was. Like, are we in the Matrix? Is this the Matrix? And I was like, I had to walk away from the TV. I was like, what the fuck is going on in this movie? Like, where's my red pill? And it's like, that's what I want. I want to see what the world is.
Did you watch it all?
Oh yeah, I came back.
Okay.
I had to just wash my, a little water on the face, and I was like, all right, let's go, let's get back into it. But it is cool.
Are we in the Matrix?
It makes you think that.
True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU, bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU, bluewater.com. Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. All right, welcome into this Friday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show. It is good to be back. West Shin, any tour of the Noodle? We will have a tour of the Noodle. Still a couple of things coming in today. Table coming in. Got to set that front room up. We got Mark Freshart, Mark Barrett coming back.
Oh, is he coming today?
Oh, yeah. Not today, but he's coming back soon. He's been working on. If you saw the bridge downtown, he was painting that. Dude, he's awesome.
He's so good.
Cool.
Me and Lloyd gotta put the chair together.
Yeah.
My chair, little swivel chair.
Yeah, a little swivel.
Make sure you check out Mark Verrett, Mark Fresh Art on Instagram to keep up with our guy, as he is super talented and a great artist from South Louisiana. Also a dancer, bro.
I know.
Puts it out there.
He does put it out there.
I mean, that is some ballsy movie, too. I love it. Absolutely love it.
It's such a thing that you think he wouldn't be able to do, and the fact that he can, it makes it so much cooler. Yeah. Like, if he looked like he could dance, it's like, of course.
Coach, he looked like he'd be a problem in the post.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, he looks like a low block player, like that you would, like, feed the post and has a drop step and, like, a little baby hook. And then, I mean, to see him with some of his dance moves, you're kind of like, man, I can move. I put him at guard. Nathan Velasquez, who is the 5-minute critic. He was back home down in South Louisiana the past couple of weeks. We miss him down here this week as he is back up in New York City. Lots to talk to Nate, just like we do every week. But make sure that you are subscribed to his YouTube channel. Make sure you are following him on social media, as he is here with us every Friday, and he is the 5-minute critic. We will tell you everything what is going on in Hollywood. In fact, CJ Field just typed into the bunker. The only reason why I'm here on Fridays is because of Nathan. So welcome to the party, pal. Nathan, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. It's snowing for the first time up here in the Northeast for the year. It is snowing, and it is weird. It's those people that always said in Louisiana when it snows, they're like, "Oh, you guys don't have real snow. What's going on there?" I always thought, like, that's a little rude. It's still snow. But no, this stuff is. I feel bad for the people that you see on the sidewalks having to shovel it. It's some rough stuff. It's fun for like 45 minutes, and then it's like, whoa. Yeah, okay, maybe not that great.
I'm over it. Nathan, Nicolas Cage is weighing in on Alec Baldwin and his responsibility and what's going on. I think that we'll start to see more of this, right? Where Hollywood heavyweights coming out and giving their opinion on this. What's the latest on Baldwin?
I feel like the thing, again, in terms of the investigation, from what people are reporting on, it seems like that's going to be more of a February thing. I think the most important part of the story right now is the dynamic between the entertainment industry and the audience. People generally usually get pretty annoyed with Hollywood. A lot of people say there's a lot of preaching, just kind of stuff that turns people off. This, no one wants to go through that stuff. And this is a situation where it's like, okay, step up to the plate. Let's see what you're actually about. No posturing. Let's actually, this is a serious situation. How are you actually going to respond to it? And for someone like Nicolas Cage to come out, who pretty much joined what George Clooney had said, I think is a pretty big deal. And Nicolas Cage pretty much said that whenever you work at the level that they're at, you've been very high in the hierarchy of Hollywood for decades. Your job is not just to be an actor. You have to kind of know a little bit of everything. He said, you have to be a stuntman. You have to know how to drive ships. You have to know how to ride a horse. You have to know how to even work with swords, because everyone at some point after you're there for like 2 decades, you're going to have a movie like that. And he said one of the first things that you learn when you start having success is how you work with firearms. Like, it's one of the most common props
prerequisites,
in a Hollywood
right?
film.
Yeah,
you have to know how to work with weapons. You don't need to be a master at it, but he said you need to know the basics. And you could tell that Nicolas Cage was kind of trying to protect himself a bit, because he said, hey, I'm not trying to throw any blame at anyone here from what I'm saying. But, the comments speak for themselves in terms of, look, there's something terribly wrong with this situation. A certain someone is not owning up to a certain level of responsibility. I think it's a good thing to see more people in Hollywood come out and, not necessarily throw shit at the guy, but pretty much say, hey, we're not 100% out of touch. There's a certain level of responsibility that everyone holds. This is a situation where this guy holds a certain level of responsibility, and it's still a weird topic. I'm not saying I like seeing people come out and throw someone under the bus. I know there's a lot of people that have said that's what this is. I don't think that's what this is. I'm happy to see that there are high up people in the industry willing to come out and say, hey, there's something called responsibility. There's something called protocol. We have to follow it regardless of who you are. I think that's a pretty good message.
This will also be a big measuring stick weekend for Hollywood as far as award shows goes, because I don't think anybody's going to watch. And what are they going to do? What are they going to do when they don't watch?
Yeah, no, this Sunday is huge, and normally the conversation surrounding this would be who are the nominees, who are the winners, what's going on with the industry, and who's gonna go home with the gold. I think this does kind of tie in. There's a thread here that ties into just the industry being out of touch. Viewership has gone down for every award show. The industry right now is desperate for the Golden Globes, which is this Sunday, to be their kind of sacrificial lamb. NBC has said after losing 67% of the viewership, we're just going to put it on YouTube. We're not going to put it on TV, which I think is just an embarrassing way for them to say they're not going to exist next year. Instead, they're trying to put this new award show out this Sunday, the Critics' Choice Awards, which I don't think is going to work even in the slightest. But we'll see. I think this weekend on Monday, the big story is not going to be the awards. It's going to be, did anyone watch this at all? Because my prediction is 2 years from now, the Oscars are in huge trouble. There was a story that came out just last week saying that the Oscars did not even make the top 100 most viewed broadcasts last year when it's normally in the top 10. Like, it's the story of people kind of giving up on this side of the industry is interesting to follow. And I mean, that's the type of stuff that we're tracking at 5 Minute Critic. So that's what's big this weekend.
Nathan Velasquez, speaking of 5 Minute Critic, there are movie breakdowns every week that you can find there on his YouTube channel, right there at the 5 Minute Critic YouTube site. What's the movie this week?
This week, we're actually moving the reviews to now being live streamed on Wednesday at 5 p.m. So if anyone wants to join in with the movies that we're talking about, yeah, it'll be. Hey, people have been coming in hard with their takes, which is what we like. Last week we talked about Spencer, that new Kristen Stewart movie, which if you are following the awards is more than likely going to at least get a nomination. I didn't feel like it was a great movie. I felt very forgettable. But next week we're going to talk about the new Matrix movie, which I won't give too much away, but I might need to check it out again. I was not all that thrilled with it.
Nathan, a lot of people in the chat asking what you think about Spider-Man.
I love Spider-Man. I really love Spider-Man. I thought it was exciting, and I definitely am going to want to see it again. I grew up with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and every now and then there's a little bit. I'm not going to say what's in it, but it gives enough. It gives a recognition for everyone that has lived with Spider-Man over the last few decades. And honestly, just being able to be in a theater that was packed out completely, hearing people applaud, people stand up, people get actually excited. That was probably half of the enjoyment for me. But in terms of a great story, I think it really is a great movie. I liked it.
Ask Nate what he thinks about Wind River.
Wind River's awesome. And I actually just started Yellowstone recently. Really into it so far. But yeah, that's from the same writer, Taylor Sheridan. Wind River is incredible. I love everything he's done, like Sicario, Wind River. I hear that King of what is it? There's a new prison show that came out recently with him. That's okay. You, Lloyd, I see you. He's great. He's great, and yeah, Wind River is great too. How dare you, Lloyd? He's gonna get you.
Spoiler alert! He gets out of jail.
Her Breaking Bad was good.
Yeah.
Nathan, what are you? What's on the? What's planned for a snowy weekend in New York?
Well, it's actually, we're celebrating the girlfriend's birthday, so we're getting together, going to have a party this weekend, probably a little bit of brunch on Saturday. So yeah, we'll be indoors most of the time, but it'll be fun.
I do have a question for you. We had this discussion earlier in the show. For you, Christina Aguilera or Britney Spears?
Ooh.
That's so random.
It is. But
that is very random. But I would have to go.
It is.
I'd have to go Christina. I'd have to
thank you.
Aguilera, yeah.
Thank you. I think she's more talented.
I don't know. It might be a little bit. Everyone's got their own story and everything. Everyone has their own baggage. Hey, that's no shame at all with that. But it's a little too out there with Britney Spears. I'd be a little bit too much publicity.
The reason why I ask is they haven't seen Burlesque, and I had watched Burlesque the other day with my wife, and they hadn't seen it, and so I said that Christina was very good in Burlesque, and so that's kind of how that got brought up.
I didn't even know it was a movie.
So would you go Christina Aguilera or Cher if you watched Burlesque? Who are you?
That would probably be a really good argument. See,
Cher.
Yeah.
Cher was awesome, but I don't know Christina. I like Christina in the movie.
Look at
in the movie.
Crushes on Aguilera.
Aguilera.
Nate, you can have one night with either Christina Aguilera or Britney Spears. You're picking Britney every time.
No, it's his girlfriend's birthday. He can't answer that question.
She could come. It's all
yeah, that
Happy birthday.
Yeah, maybe she gives you. Maybe,
What was that?
Who knows? I don't know. I'm just gonna drink
Nathan
my water.
very quiet during this conversation right now. Nathan, stay safe. Enjoy the snow this weekend.
Wait. I got one for him.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage as Nicolas Cage. How excited for you for that movie?
That is going to be incredible. The trailer, I'll say when a trailer actually came out, I'll say my expectations were kind of in another area for what that story would be. But honestly, Nicolas Cage is Nicolas Cage. I'm all in. I'm all in with the pitch. Hopefully, I can catch that in theaters.
I mean, I think that's like the
perfect role.
Spot on as you can. I mean, Nicolas Cage is the most mysterious person I've ever seen in Hollywood. You don't know if he's good or bad or great or
just crazy.
I love the comeback
nuts.
he's been having. He's
me too.
He's really been back on the ball. It's very exciting.
Tell Leanne happy
Nicolas
birthday.
Cage.
And enjoy it. We will talk to you soon.
All right, y'all have a good week.
There he is, Nathan Velasquez checking in, the 5-minute critic here this morning.
Happy birthday
on
to
the
your girlfriend.
on
love
the Jordy Culotta
love
show.
the random questions. It just put those people off guard sometimes. I like
Yeah.
that.
Nathan can handle them.
Yeah.
Nathan
Well,
is very-
I knew he could handle that one. Yeah.
Nathan's very quick on his feet.
City Cafe, remember citycafebr.net online lunch specials every single day, including brunch that opens up at 10 o'clock on Sunday mornings. So if you're looking for a spot to get to for lunch, for brunch this Sunday or lunch, stop in and see our friends over at City Cafe. Squeaky Miranda, Cody Miranda, Dirk and the crew, where good friends meet over 100 years in business. Lunch specials every single day. You can check out their menu online. You can even contact them about private parties and renting the space over there at City Cafe. Don't forget about Sunday brunch. They have live music too over there. Online at citycafebr.net, citycafebr.net. Good stuff from Nathan Velasquez. Over with the 5-minute critic, our friend who joins us every Friday here on the Jordy Culotta Show as we break into the weekend. And first week in the new DL, one down. Got the Carpool Queen back here. Fresh off the IR.
Mic'd up. Speaking of mic'd up, got the first guest. First show. First guest for the little Squeaky.
Sorry, Nick Cage.
Squeaky Miranda. Squeaky over there.
Squeaky Miranda sounds like somebody you need to know.
It
Yeah.
does.
Like
I mean, odds are
Yeah.
if you're out there, you do know him.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
doubt.
no
doubt.
Talk about
you're
a guy.
not named
He's the
Squeaky
mayor.
unless you don't.
Yeah.
You're not well
Great
known.
basketball coach.
A little prison time.
But first guest
stories
is
there, for
confirmed. Confirmed.
Who we got?
Kevin Gosman.
Okay.
KG.
KG's gonna come in studio, hang
The
out with the
$1 million
boys,
man.
the $110 million man.
Kevin Gobson, movetheudl.com.
He and look, he's excited about it. He's not like talkative. He doesn't really do many interviews. I don't even think he's had many interviews since his big deal because the lockout and like he hasn't talked. So
An exclusive.
I don't know if it's an exclusive, but we'll get some behind the scenes things, how the deal went down, who else was talking to him, how much he liked San Francisco, what did he do to change, like to
How
put
much does he
himself,
look forward to Toronto?
and how much. But see, and that's a weird thing now with the COVID stuff. Like, how's it going to happen? Are they going to be able to?
So strict.
Are they going to shut it down? Are they going to have to play in Florida like they did that one time? Are they going to have to play in Buffalo, which would stink? Buffalo stinks, and so.
Do they
But
have a
it's
stadium there?
there's a. They have a AAA stadium. That's the Blue Jays AAA is in Buffalo, but
Okay.
they
Wow.
redid it.
Indoor?
Oh no, not AAA.
Buffalo.
Coach is miserable. But
Buffalo.
they redid it like.
That's
How do you
Quentin
want me to-
territory.
How do you want me to hit a fastball here?
Splinters in my hands.
But he's on a fun team. Toronto's a fun team. But
They're close, huh?
they're there.
Yeah.
Buffalo Blue
He's gonna be.
Jays.
Their offense
Got a ring to
is
it.
probably
Is that
like.
a real thing?
That's what they would be.
Yeah, no, they're the Bisons, Buffalo Bisons.
Buffalo Blue Jays sounds terrible.
But if they were a major league team, they
Buffalo
would be
Bison.
the
sounds
Buffalo
like a
Blue
terrible
Jays.
Major League.
Yeah.
I mean, a baseball team.
Yeah, but there's a. It's cool to hear the behind the scenes of what happened with these because these deals happen quick, right? It's like he had to sign before the deadline before the deadline of the lockout, because once the lockout happens, there's no more talking to teams. So a lot of free agents want to get their deals done early.
That coffee maker wants another piece of you.
Is that what that
sounds like.
was?
yeah.
Hey,
Remember,
talking
he
a
used
little
to blast
talking a
right
little
here
shit.
next to us, and now we just
Yeah.
hear it in the background.
Here's Montauk telling stories and he's calling him out.
Yeah, that's all right. He's
Hey, loudmouth, back here!
You want some more?
The coffee machine is mad that I've been dominating him.
You
lately.
have been, bro.
I don't like. There's no fight anymore. It's
They
he's
coffee
just
maker
giving up.
one Monday and that was it.
Rebecca, you know I'm on air right now. Why would you call me?
It's over.
Like, what the hell?
That something might be wrong.
Yeah.
If she calls twice, something's wrong.
Easy, bro.
Oh, that's
Easy.
the trick. If you call me twice, I'll answer the second
If you
one.
call me twice, I used to.
I thought you didn't have your phone.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
I didn't the first
Well, you
time.
kept
What do you
calling.
want?
I heard it.
The move with so I have a bunch of friends that suck with text messages. Suck. Like they don't respond to anything. They don't whatever. So I would call him I'd call my buddy in college. He would never answer my phone call. He wouldn't text. He wouldn't respond. I would always send him, hey dude, it's an emergency. You have to get back to me. He calls me back right away. He's like, what's wrong? Nothing.
What's
Idiot.
wrong with you?
Like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? I've been trying to call you for 2 hours. And then he's like, yeah, my bad. But
I didn't have my phone.
Yeah, you gotta trick him.
Oh man, dude, there was a tweet that kind of went viral that was like, there's people in your life that you have a finite amount of text messages before they're gone. Like you can only have their attention for a few seconds. So it's like you have to make these very valuable. And my buddy tagged me in it on Twitter, and I was like, damn it, that is me. Like because I'll have text conversations, then I'll drop out.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, okay,
and
never
you
mind.
get in deep too, and then
I'll ghost it. Yeah, I'm
There's
gone.
nothing worse than you asking me a question, not you in particular, but in general. Someone asking you a question in text, you answer the question, you respond with something, and I get no response. I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
You just asked me, you started this conversation, I gave you the answer, and I'm responding to you, and you don't respond to me.
I was just checking. Thank you.
I get it. Yeah, cool. Thanks.
Make sure to like, share, comment. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll be back with you on Sunday night for the Jordy Culotta show.
Do you think Gossman would let me get in the box? And like,
Yeah, do you want to get in the box?
Well,
I mean, you want to swing? You want to swing off, or you just want to trash?
I just want. You know what? I would just like to see.
Hey,
it.
I'd
funny
want to
story.
see it.
You want to go ask someone about it? Go ask BG what happened when he stood in the box when Kevin was tracking. BG was just it was through a bullpen.
Did he legit get in the box?
He would just want to see it, and
that's
Kevin
right.
threw him. I think Kevin threw him a breaking ball, and he had coffee, like a coffee just to see it. And BG flinched, and like coffee went everywhere because he threw the ball, and the ball was right in the middle.
I'd be so scared.
Yeah, I mean this thing comes in hot, boys. It's
Yeah, 100 miles an hour from. I mean, that'll get there quick.
100 miles an hour. I'd like for you to see the splitter. The splitter's his best pitch.
It's
a little
It
splitter.
just falls off the table.
Oh, dude, he throws his fastball, and then his splitter moves like this much, but it falls in. So it's like it's like one of the nastiest pitches in baseball. And that's what makes him successful. You know you have a really good pitch when you're a starter and you're a predominantly 2-pitch guy. When you're a starter, you probably need 3 pitches, right?
An out pitch.
Right. Well, the out pitch would be but you need something to get him off of that, right? He doesn't have anything. This is getting technical. So like, as a pitcher, you want to be able to have something that goes both ways. So like, if you're just throwing cutters and everything's just going away or into lefties or away to righties, guys can start cheating. But you want something to get them to keep them honest.
Spill their coffee.
On end, right? And so when you don't have that, it's tough. But he's dominant now. He has a little bit of his slider's getting a lot better. He threw me a couple yesterday, and I'm like, hey, so now he's got a third one. Yeah.
Dude, I'd love to stand in on that.
I mean,
I would
sure
too.
He's Kev's chill. He'll let you sit in.
Call Doobie.
I might need the
Get the camera.
the elementary school helmet though, just a little face mask.
He's not
just
gonna
in
hit you,
case.
dude.
I know, but I mean, he's hit people before.
Yeah, but he's not gonna hit. He's not. You think he's not gonna be throwing a bullpen with you in the mound throwing 100. He's probably gonna be throwing low 90s.
Oh,
You know?
that's
You ever
not a
heard that
problem.
story about Stuart Scott when he goes out there and does training camp with the
Yeah,
New York
but-
Jets? And he was on the jugs machine with the wide receivers. You know the wide receivers stand with their back to the jugs machine, and you yell ball, and when you hit the ball, you turn, you catch. He turned and caught a football into the point of his eye.
Oh no, he almost lost his eye.
I believe he lost his vision in that eye. And if you go and look
Like
at
forever?
Stuart Scott, like the last 10 years of his life, while he's on air at SportsCenter, he always would wear these glasses to try and like take your
Attention off the
away
wonky
from his
eye.
eye, because it was like a lazy eye
Yeah.
where he couldn't. I mean, it was almost like it was
Fake.
It
Wow.
was shut.
I didn't know that.
Because he was doing a story. Because I mean, Scott was a really good athlete. You know what I mean? He was he went to North Carolina, and he would routinely kind of be like one of those guys that was playing pickup against the basketball team and was like making noise. So they thought it was a good idea to put him into a NFL training camp scenario and let him go through camp with some of the NFL guys, and he was going through it with the Jets and was going through that type of drill with the jugs machine. Jugs, ball hits him in the face from like 10 yards back.
Shut the story down.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that that's when you start thinking of liability and all that stuff that comes in. But yeah, I mean, he had a lazy eye for
The majority of his life.
The
after
majority that he was on,
his
majority
ESPN
he was
career.
on air.
Yeah.
I mean, he would
Wait,
wear
is he
those
dead?
glasses.
Yeah.
He passed
away.
away.
Okay.
Cancer.
He passed from,
I think he's Jewish, which a lot of people don't know that. I
Really?
heard. Yeah, I think so.
You think?
in fact,
so.
I want to say that it was the. It's always weird to say this, but is it anniversary of the death?
I guess it
Yeah,
would
I
be.
guess so.
I mean, that'd be
kind
the.
of like
Remembrance.
the day of remembrance from Stuart Scott just a couple of days ago. Like I believe that he passed like in early January. It was. I think everybody will always remember his ESPYs speech. Who knew him?
After that's when he was recovering from.
And he was speaking kind of directly to his daughters.
Yeah.
When he knew his life was not going to make it. As a very powerful point in television that I think everybody will remember on Stuart Scott in his life.
And it's hard to crack.
Very, very Jim Valvano-ish.
I was about to say it's hard to crack into that ESPYs territory, and he absolutely did deliver one of the Hall of Fame ESPY speeches. And I think SVP does a great job on his show of going to the vault, and he always does a Stuart Scott highlight.
Yeah.
And so that's a great way to
With
keep
the
him.
one-liners. That's
so they
SVP is my favorite.
Absolutely.
is my favorite. To be honest
He's
with
the
you,
reason for this problem that y'all have. Scott Van Pelt and Russillo are the reason that I wanted to do this.
Yeah.
That show.
Oh, that's a good problem.
Yeah.
It's not, I wouldn't call it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it a problem. But
Skipping school to listen to radio.
SVP is literally the only thing that I watch on ESPN.
Yeah.
I don't watch Sports Center. I don't watch, but I will watch SVP at night because
it's just great.
He's awesome. He's great at what he does. He speaks very well. You don't feel like he has kind of an agenda. He kind of just tells it how it is, and he loves LSU, right? And I think the one thing that that got stuck in my mind is that 4-minute audio clip of him talking about the LSU Alabama game when he was there, and he said it was the greatest sports experience he's ever had, and it was that is the most.
I was standing with him that night on the sideline.
Were you?
I was, Russillo and I had formed a pretty good relationship when I got into ESPN radio because they would send him down. He was the host of College Game Day on radio, at that time, which was an incredible gig. And every time he would come down here, they would need local help for getting in and out of production breaks, keeping the crowd involved. And I was the first one that they used when they came down here. So he and I kind of picked up a texting kind of relationship, and then he would come on the show every now and again. Once we moved to Afternoon Jay, he said he'll come on with us a couple of times.
I met him a couple of times.
He's cool,
awesome.
bro.
I don't
He's
know
awesome.
him that well. I mean,
he's awesome.
There's a lot of mutual friends that I'm sure.
But him and Russillo, and he was telling me, he was leading up to it, he was like, we got to get SVP to a night game because Russillo fell in love with Baton Rouge. He still to this day loves the place. Has dated girls here. He loves South Louisiana. Just like the rest of the world.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That happens to him. That South Louisiana women pull him all back.
Where is he now?
He has his own podcast.
He's in Los Angeles.
Okay.
He's crushing it.
Yeah, he's
with
killing
his
it.
podcast.
He's
His
killing it.
podcast
He works for
is
the
awesome.
Ringer.
Okay.
For Bill Simmons.
Yeah. Okay.
But for a long time, he was at ESPN, and him and Scott Van Pelt hosted the best radio show in the game.
Yes.
Their radio show was the
Ahead
nuts.
of its time.
I mean,
It
was elite, man. And they had great segments. They had great guests. They had great bits. They had
Who's the jerk?
They had it all.
Yeah, dude.
It started Who's the Douche?
Yeah.
Really? That was the
but
segment?
ESPN made them change it to Who's the Jerk, and they would play it on
air.
staff without anybody on air with the staff without any preparation.
That's the best. That's
So you would get real time, they would be like, "Who's the jerk?" And they'd be like, "This week, Katie, I think you're the jerk for the way that you talked to me and you didn't clean up your coffee."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people you're like,
That's awesome.
"All right, my bad. Well, I think you're a jerk for the,
Yeah.
not telling me you had COVID, you freaking prick."
I love that.
We did that.
I love that.
Yeah,
Like
that's
we should almost.
it's a great segment, and it's a great way to kind of smoke stuff out, and you can't run from it. You know what I mean? Because if you do, Hayden Paris is going to be on your ass,
Yeah.
Right.
right? He ain't never going to let you forget about it, and that's what Russillo and SVP brought to light.
That's awesome.
This could go two ways. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
It could be great radio, but we could also break up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could also like break the whole thing up.
You can only do that when you have the right.
When you got to be tight, bro.
Yeah.
You got to have that. You got to have that trust.
That's
and,
awesome. I kind of like that a lot.
It was one of great segments. It was one of the great segments that they had. And if you go back, they have a treasure trove of segments. Like that was kind of like how they made their show. I mean, it would be some of the things some of the benchmarks that you would look forward to. But I'll never forget when SVP came down here that week, and it was like it was an event. Like he came down on Thursday. Like they did the show from walk-ons.
Right, because the Maryland guy. Right?
Yeah, and like he was playing it up. Like people keep telling me I got to see it, and I'm telling you.
And what game was that?
It was LSU, Alabama, 2012.
Oh, right after 11,
it was the
2011.
first one after the national championship.
That was the
and it was
the game that
TJ Yeldon.
Yes.
No, it wasn't that one.
It wasn't some screen pass to Yeldon?
Yes, that was
That's the one I'm talking about. That was when he kicked the ball out of bounds.
No. The one he kicked out of bounds was in 15. Was with Vidal Alexander.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Okay. Well then I mixed both games, but that was okay.
The ball he kicked out of bounds was the next game back in Tiger Stadium. The 2012 was where he hit TJ Yeldon and Mingo jumps for him and he misses him at the goal line and he scores.
And if you have Tyrann Mathieu, it never happens.
That's Jalen Mills that he gets it on, true freshman. But that's the night that Mettenberger is cutting up Alabama's secondary with Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham.
Coming out
and then third down and 8, they take the ball out of his hand, hand it to Hill, and then they score.
That's right.
On the screen pass. But the pregame environment for that particular night, I can still feel in my bones. Like I remember that game being even different than anyone else that I had been to in a pregame. People were in the stands an hour before kickoff. The band was in place, kind of giving like a background beat to the night where people were just staying in it. And the buzz on the field, I was covering the game from the field during that time, and I was standing right next to Russillo and that crew. And I'll never forget when the band was on the field playing he was hitting the bass drum, getting ready to go into the boom, and they were doing the boom, boom, boom. And people were like starting to clap in the stands.
I'm getting the goosebumps.
And SVP, I'll never forget, like he was looking around and SVP's 6'7".
Yeah.
I mean, he's 6'8". Is
he that tall?
He is a humongous
I mean, I know he's tall. I know he's 6'8".
human being.
Yeah.
Like he is huge. He looks like a basketball player.
Yeah.
And he is like looking around and he looks at Russillo and Russillo's like standing. And even Russillo's like, Jesus,
I haven't seen this
This
yet.
is nuts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even I, to a degree, was kind of like, it's on tonight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
tonight is going to be one of those nights that you'll always remember here because it just feels different. And SVP being like, I mean, after it hit and everybody, and they run out and the place is going nuts. I mean, I remember him being like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
where have I been?
Yeah.
What have I been doing? I mean, like, pretty much that rant that he gave on his show, he did it like right there.
Yeah.
Like he was just like, I have never in my life seen, heard, felt anything like this. And if Alabama wins this game tonight, they are the best team in the country.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it is no debate
Yep.
that if Alabama wins this game tonight, they are going to have to go through the pits of hell to get it. And that's the night that A.J. McCarron's crying. Remember, he was crying on the
It
field.
was 1 of 7 in the
He's
second half.
crying on the field after that game because it just...
Overwhelming.
It was overwhelming, man. That environment that night was as good and as fine, and as for somebody from a national perspective to see it, you could not have painted a better picture.
Yeah.
You couldn't have painted a better scenario. The only thing that could have been better is you take the hat off that goofy bastard on the sideline and get him out of there.
Fake another one less. Moron.
Stupid son of a bitch.
Alamar.
Dumb son
man.
of a bitch. Dumb motherfucker, man.
But yeah, SVP's the man. I want to meet him. That's one guy I'd like to like. I would love to go play a round of golf with him because I'm
Yes.
sure he's really good at golf.
Absolutely.
He's awesome on his golf calls. Like when
Yes.
he's
Well,
Yeah,
loves
well, that's
it.
how he started.
Yeah, no, that's
how he
his
started.
thing. Like he is awesome.
Yeah.
SVP with hair.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah.
golf
Useful.
channel. Useful Sean.
It's a
But
great
he ended his like the SVP and Russillo show. He ended that show with LSU. Like that
Yeah.
was his like
That was their like combining, like cultivating moment that they feel like this is what the radio show was supposed to be about, like going to campuses. Because remember when they first started, they had one fan that had like the Toledo sign in the back, and they would have him on air like, "Thank you for supporting us from the beginning." He's like, I mean, I just felt like nobody was there. Y'all needed something. I loved the show, but the fact that he thought it was important enough to end the chapter of one of the probably a radio show that was far ahead of its time to be on ESPN News and to be on cable television. And to end that like era with LSU shows you how important it is and how kind of magical that night was. And I wish it would have ended with a win.
And you had Stanford Steve, who's awesome.
And their whole team was great.
And now you still have Stanford Steve there, and it's just like this. Like Bad Beats is one of my favorite segments on television.
But they should bring that radio show back at some point.
Yeah, or do something.
They tried. They did a podcast and they shut it down again.
Why?
ESPN
shut them down.
It didn't have the. Yeah, because they were taking SVP away from his
of course.
TV commitment.
That's fun.
But that's what's keeping ESPN like, outside of the game day and like the actual like games and stuff. SVP is the only program that ESPN. I say only. I mean for me, but it's the only program that I watch for ESPN that like draws me to ESPN. To watch it, right? And I think a lot of people feel that way, and so I get why they don't want to do it. But man, he is awesome.
Randy Lanois, what year did LSU get the personal foul on the goal line and have to kick it out of bounds? That was 2014. So the game that I'm referencing is 2012, which was the immediate game after the national championship, after the 2011 national championship in New Orleans. 2012 game was with Mettenberger, Landry, Beckham, Hill, and in the second half was really Mettenberger's coming out party as a LSU quarterback. He started dicing up Alabama. Yeah. I mean, they couldn't stop him. They couldn't stop him in Beckham. They couldn't stop him in Landry. They were cutting him up. And then on a big 3rd down and 8, they gave the ball to Jeremy Hill and they stopped him, drove down the field. TJ Yeldon screen pass at the buzzer. They get beat by 1 right there on the goal line. The next year, LSU goes to Tuscaloosa with that same team, with Beckham, Landry, Mettenberger, and all them, and they get beat pretty bad. That was the year that Landon Collins scooped that ball up on the goal line and nearly took it the distance. I was at that game too.
Me too.
And then 2014 is when they get back to Baton Rouge, and they've got the game on the ropes. That's Lane Kiffin and Blake Sims. Blake Sims is the running back converted to quarterback that Kiffin gets the ball after Vidal Alexander gets the personal foul deep in LSU's territory. They got to kick the field goal. They go up, and then on the ensuing kickoff, Leslie Miles, that dipshit, tells the place kicker to kick it into the corner, and they squiv it out of bounds and give the ball to Sims, Lane Kiffin, and the Alabama offense on the 40. They call 4 plays. They're in the end zone, and still to this day, the finest 2-point conversion I've ever seen. They hit on a 2-pointer right there, and win the game. And then if you remember, they had to kick off. They still had like 3 seconds left on the clock. They have to kick off to LSU. And who was that lunatic linebacker that they signed that got thrown off the San Francisco 49ers? Who? No, it wasn't Reggie Ragland. It was the guy that got drafted one spot after Ryan Ramczyk.
The Saints were on the phone with him.
The Saints were on the phone for him, and the Niners. Reuben Foster comes down on a kickoff and hits Leonard Fournette as hard as Fournette's ever been hit in his life. Still to this day, I don't know if I've ever seen Fournette hit that hard.
Taken off his feet.
He was taken off of his feet. Fournette scoops up the kickoff and turns. He's got his back to the kickoff team and turns around and starts running full speed, and Foster is coming down like a friggin' bullet down the field, never touched, and puts his crown of his helmet into Lenny's chin, bro, and Lenny is laying like flat in the air, and the whole stadium just the air came out of it, and Alabama sideline looked like they had won the national championship.
Superman can bleed.
They looked like they were throwing their helmet. They were dancing on the field. Scott Cochran's going crazy. And I remember sitting there thinking, LSU, it's about to be over. Like, it is over, man. And they had them beat, but that was 2014.
And it was Lane Kiffin that was the whistle.
Tom Granning,
heard
such
around the
depressing
world.
talk. Yes, I know.
And that was overtime. Overtime. That was Lane Kiffin's whistle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when he whistled back at Sims and he looked
changed the
back
play.
at him and he changed the play right there. And Lane.
How do you hear that whistle?
That's what he said.
He hit him
goes,
with that. He hit him with that. He hit him with the this one.
Yeah.
the Yellowstone whistle.
And like, I mean, coach, 100,000.
Yeah.
Raining down on him, and he hits that whistle, and like 3 heads bounce back like
Like a
this,
dog
and
whistle.
he does like, and
Run the play. Do the scoring one.
and it's over. It is over. It was like Phil Jackson's whistle. Have you ever seen? You remember when Phil Jackson would sit on the bench like this, and he would just hit a, and all 5 of them would be like. I mean, like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Scottie Pippen, and Shaq. I mean, they'd all be like.
It's either Dennis Rodman hit the pipe or it's little res whistle.
But that was vintage.
it?
That was vintage less. That was vintage less. I mean, that was you had the game won and you screwed it up.
Pissed it away.
Yeah, I mean, you got in the way of the game.
Oh, yeah. He said, I wish I had some calls back after.
You think?
I bet, yeah.
You think?
Us too.
There's a lot of calls I wish he had back.
Yeah, it's
So
the
of
one we
course,
made.
Wish
to
Joe
you
Oliva had
ahead
the
of them.
call back of paying your dumbass.
Oh boy.
Just don't answer the phone.
Jesus, take that Arkansas job with your buddy
Arkansas.
Jeff Arkansas. That's
Then
when he
they
should have gotten
lose.
fired.
And then they lose.
Yeah, and the first thing Darren McFadden says into the cameras was, "It's Arkansas, baby, not Arkansas." Like, appreciate it. The head coach gave you fucking locker room material all week for the national champions. Fucking guy. All right, enjoy your Monday. We'll be back, or enjoy your Friday. We'll be back with you on
Do you
Sunday
think
night.
he thought it was Arkansas? Like, he wasn't doing a bit.
No, he was.
I mean,
He doesn't- come on, he
Lloyd.
doesn't know.
Lloyd.
There's
He
no
knew.
telling.
He knew.
I mean,
No, there is
Jesus.
It was all an act. It was
I
all
mean,
an act.
Jesus.
All an act.
It was a fireable offense.
Yeah.
It was a fireable offense the day of. I mean, you could have easily been like,
Go to Michigan.
What did you? What were you thinking? Like, why would
I
you?
wish he would have gone. I was hoping he was going to Michigan.
I wish he would have gone to Arkansas so you could have kicked
Kicked
his
his
teeth
ass.
in for a decade, like to show you how dumb this guy is. Like, let him walk. Let that dumbass walk, man.
He had so much public fans on his side,
Which
though.
is
He was so
incredible.
beloved.
He tricked
Which is
everyone. He
He
Incredible.
tricked out
He
greatest
tricked everyone.
swindle of all
Incredible.
time. He might be
He
a
had
genius.
he had the media on his side. He tricked everyone.
Don't give him that much credit.
I don't know. It worked, and he did it again at Kansas. Then he got himself.
Nah,
he
he
got,
He didn't really do it. He could do what he wanted at Kansas because nobody like whatever, and then he got in trouble, and then now he's gone, and then Kansas beats Texas when he leaves. Like it's good. Like that.
Where is
obviously.
he? What do you think he's doing?
He's ducked off somewhere. I think they got him. Kind of put away. You never see him in the public anymore.
I've seen one.
Does he live in Baton Rouge?
I have no idea.
No
but his
way.
daughter Committed to play. The youngest one committed to play softball at UCF. I think and he was in a picture of that. He had like a
Creeping?
Black hat on, black
Oh,
shirt.
he is the
Yeah.
black hat.
I walked through his old
Remember when he
house.
thought he was going to be an actor?
He tried. He took acting classes.
Yeah, legitimately showed up and was trying out for parts.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, do you think these
Your
people
whole
are-
life is an act,
Do you
dude. You
think
don't
these
have to do
people are like,
anything.
what are you doing
Yeah.
here?
Yep. Oh yeah.
It's like Michael Scott at the improv classes. He told me he has a gun.
I like my team. Oh, you do? Thanks.
They have the want. What is it? The want.
The
Oh,
want,
God.
the want,
Like
the
Jesus.
chest.
They have the want to be here. Oh, cool. Thanks. That's reassuring.
You kind of have to.
Right. Have a great Sunday.
Yep.
Friday.
Friday. We'll be back Sunday.
Yes, we will.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Les, come on the show.
Should have offered me out of high school.